subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Guys were eager to get high scores. After getting the white grape spider eggs and small spiders, they hurriedly wanted to fly up, but found that there was no strong convection air blowing at the bottom of the canyon. This caused them to fall to the ground one after another. This scene also instantly made the other candidates nervous. And at the bottom, those candidates couldn't see it all. Liku let go of his hand directly. He fell into the pile of grape spiders. It is worthy of being one of the most difficult ingredients in the world, and it is called the dream egg. Some of these grape spiders are 2 meters tall, and the purple barb legs give people a great sense of oppression. Unfortunately, they met Liku, a 10-year fish-killing expert. Mindhunter Flower's knife wheel. In an instant, 20 fish-killing knives appeared in Liku's hand. This was originally a term belonging to Menchi. When Liku first absorbed it, he didn't awaken his mind power, but after this period of time, he had already figured out how to use it. The telekinesis naturally came from the inside out, opening the aura nodes. Materialization System 100 Flowers Blade Wheel. In an instant, he rushed into the group of poor grape spiders as if he had transformed into a human-slaying demon god. The shrill screams continued, making the candidates above shudder. Ding! You killed the Warcraft grape spider. In the random looting entry, congratulations on obtaining extraordinary fertility, blue. Ding! You killed the Warcraft grape spider. In a random looting entry, congratulations on obtaining demon spider perception, blue. Ding! You killed the Warcraft grape spider. In a random looting entry, congratulations on obtaining climbing, blue. Ding! You killed the Warcraft grape spider. In a random looting entry, congratulations on obtaining spider silk, blue. Ding! One after another, sounds like the sound of nature kept ringing in my mind. Energy continued to flow into Liku's limbs and bones, which was the effect of constantly obtaining new entries. Time flowed bit by bit. The people above the canyon had basically mastered the law of convection air, and most of them had obtained spider eggs and small spiders. There were still a few figures who did not leave. Gone. We should go up. We're the only ones left. Karapika said calmly. But brother, Ku hasn't come up yet. Gon was worried. Go up. Brother, Ku must have a way to sense that the businessman went down. I feel that the convection air is beginning to weaken. If we don't go up, I'm afraid there will be no wind later. After we go up, we will ask the president, and then we will use the rope to come down to pick up Brother Ku. Killua said, good idea. Let's go up and prepare the rope. Leorio also advised. Then, let's go up, Brother Ku. You have to be safe. If you don't come up in 10 minutes, we will come down to find you. Gon shouted to the bottom. The team members also flew up directly on the convection air, on the edge of the canyon. Most of the candidates have returned, and everyone has a happy face. Obviously, they have already got the ingredients they need. The so-called crab cooking is to boil the spider eggs and the spider together, which is not very difficult to cook. But the examiner, Menchi, looked unhappy at this time, and his little face was full of worry. President, it's 4:20 now, and there will be the last strong convection in 1 minute. If Liku still can't come up, I'm afraid we need to go down to find him. Oh, the wind is weakening, so that's why it's really hard to come up without wind, but Liku is different. Netero didn't seem to be worried at all, and smiled. Everyone on the field was waiting patiently. I really hope that guy will never come up. Yes, he can be stronger than the examiner. With that guy here, we will always have one less professional hunter quota. Shoo, keep your voice down. If the big devil hears us, we will die. But I think Mr. Ku is a very good person, and he helped us deal with the wild boar. Don't be so petty, right? The candidates present have already whispered. 1 minute passed. The last strong convection is gone. President, we must prepare a rope to check on Liku. He can't die here. Menchi was anxious. What a bias. The other candidates died in vain, but Liku. If you can beat the examiner will definitely worry about you. Several candidates whispered. President Netero didn't seem to care, but listen to something. Suddenly his eyes lit up, a smile bloomed on his face, and he said, "He's coming." Minchi, Gon, and others were stunned. Then they heard a very fast trampling sound coming quickly from the depths of the canyon. Then a figure rose from the sky. It was Li Ke. This guy. Didn't you say there was no convection air? How did he get up? Climbed up. Monster. Could he have killed a lot of grape spiders down there? There's a canyon down there. Everyone was stunned. Li Ke, who was stained with a lot of purple spider blood, fell in front of everyone. Sorry, I kept you waiting for so long. Li Ke smiled with his white teeth. He was in a very good mood at the moment. The monster nest below almost emptied him out, of course. In order to protect the stability of the species, and for his own convenience, he could continue to brush the entries in the later stage. Of course, he didn't kill them all. In addition, this kind of magic beast has extraordinary reproductive ability, so Li Ke politely left some of the magic spider offspring to let them continue to reproduce. But even so, his harvest was amazing. There were a few more entries in his attribute panel. Item: extraordinary fertility, gold effect. Your JZ activity and survival rate have reached the human limit, and your offspring have a very high survival rate, and are likely to inherit part of your excellent bloodline item. Magic spider sensing. Purple effect. You can keenly perceive the movement within a certain range through the change of frequency item. Strengthened spider silk. Purple effect. You have the ability of Spider-Man and can spit out spider silk comparable to the strength of steel wire from your palm item. Magic spider climbing. Purple effect. You have the climbing ability of the magic spider and can move at a vertical and ceiling-like angle like flat ground. Chapter 25. Promise with Minchi incredibly gorgeous entries. It can be said that Li Ke has become a Spider-Man, possessing the ability to climb and silk, as well as spider sense. As for the extraordinary fertility thing, Li Ke considered it again and decided to keep it. There is no other way. The most common item dropped by grape spiders is extraordinary fertility. Moreover, the efficiency of merging entries of the same type is the highest. If it is other entries, there will be discounts. Even if they are killed, those guys may not be able to pile up a gold one. In addition, he originally had an entry of super fertility, purple, and he melted it all by the way. This thing does not mean that Li Ke can split and reproduce by himself, lay eggs, etc. In essence, it makes Li Ke's genetic material more active. Because the same problem exists in the hunter world, the more powerful the hunter, the fertility seems to be weaker. Li Ke has to make some plans for the future for the time being. If he leaves this world, maybe he can leave some seeds here to continue to rule the whole world. After all, he is a man who wants to stand at the top of mankind. But even the other gains are absolutely amazing. This trip is a big profit. Oh, brother Li Ke seems to have become stronger again. It's amazing. Netaro's eyes lit up, and he looked at Li Ke with admiration. The young man in front of him has courage and courage far beyond his age. At least when he was at this age, Netero asked himself, he definitely didn't have such great courage to jump into the depths of the canyon alone. But the other party did it. And at this time, he was even more imposing. He only took a glance to understand that Li Ke must have experienced a very fierce battle below. What a tough martial arts heart. The strong will that is willing to pay for tempering oneself, not for obtaining a hunter license. A truly strong person can only reach the peak after having such a strong will. At this moment, Netero truly recognized and appreciated Li Ke. He was very optimistic about Li Ke. The young man in front of him was definitely the most talented and willed person he had met in these years. Really amazing. Minchi's beautiful eyes sparkled as she looked at Li Ke. She thought she could never rush up from the bottom of the canyon without strong convection air. What amazing explosive power and control it would take. It didn't seem unfair that she lost to the other party. It could even be guessed. I'm afraid it won't be long before this candidate 406 will become a real professional hunter and even get ahead of her. Everyone, congratulations on getting the ingredients. The next cooking is very simple. Just boil the ingredients with water. I congratulate you all for passing the second round of assessments. I hope you can perform at your best in the next assessment and become a professional hunter. Minchi breathed a sigh of relief, with excitement on her pretty face and announced the results to the people present. The next cooking session was naturally very simple. All candidates who got the ingredients were qualified to pass the test. The next assessment will be transported by the Hunter Association's airship, and everyone can get in touch with the president of the association at the closest distance. After cooking the ingredients, everyone even tasted the so-called crab. The atmosphere was so happy and lively. Mr. Like, please forgive me for what happened during the day. Minchi actually came over to chat with him. It's okay. That's what you should do as an examiner, and I should apologize. Liku was stunned, but still said politely. At least, with Minchi's 100 Flowers blade wheel, he can kill people in the canyon. After this assessment, Mr. Liku should definitely become a professional hunter. Minchi suddenly blushed. Examiner, you are too polite. You could just call me Minchi. I have an invitation for you. Oh, what invitation? If Mr. Liku becomes a professional hunter, can you consider the opportunity to go on some food missions with me? Some powerful foods are beyond my ability. Food hunter? It's not that simple. Although we are going to hunt for food, we will also find some powerful monsters and some treasures along the way. But don't worry, I will investigate the relevant dangers in advance. Minchi said nervously and expectantly. She already felt that Liku was much stronger than those candidates. In the past, only Bahara accompanied her, but even Bahara could not get some difficult foods. Nowadays, there are very few food hunters in the association. If Liku can successfully advance, it can be regarded as a pre-invitation. Okay, if I'm free at that time, I can consider it. Thank you. Then we have a deal. Minchi's face suddenly showed an excited and expectant smile. Soon, Netero led everyone to board the association's spaceship, including the examiners of the first 2 rounds. A total of 40 candidates boarded the ship. For example, Tanpa was eliminated by Li Ku on the first day. So, for Tanpa, who has the lucky entry, it is his misfortune to meet Li Ku. On the airship, Bean-Faced Man and Netero announced some precautions and said that the airship will not arrive at the examination room until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. During this period, everyone can rest first. If you need any help, you can ask Bean-Faced Man. Without Tanpa, the troublemaker, there is naturally no one here to maliciously remind everyone to prepare for the sudden assessment, which will cause nerves to be tense and rest poorly. Wow, Killa, let's go on an airship adventure. Yeah, Gon and Killua are still children, and they have already rushed out with joy. Liku, Leorio, and Kurapika went to the restaurant to eat. It is finally possible to have a normal meal here. In the airship compartment, the 3 examiners were already sitting together with food on the table. I wonder how many candidates will be able to successfully obtain a professional hunter's seat this year. If it were Minchi, I'm afraid no one would stay. Buhara stroked his big belly with satisfaction. It's true that I did a little too much, but in fact it's also because there's a guy in the crowd who is very murderous. That guy makes me very nervous, number 44. Minchi crossed his legs and put his hands on the sofa. Number 44 magician Hisoka. Yes, that guy is very dangerous and seems to come from a darker place than us. Saditz agreed. But there's a guy who seems to be very restrained with number 44. For 06, Minchi, you should be very interested in him. I saw that you seem to have talked to him in person after the end. Of course I'm interested. If you can really pass the test this time, Mr. 406 Liku and number 44 should be able to pass. But to be honest, I don't want them to fight. Minchi was a little distressed. Number 44 gave her a very dangerous feeling. She was even a little worried that number 406 Liku was not that guy's opponent. After all, 44 is the monster that almost killed the examiner last year. Eichu in the corridor of the spaceship. Liku sneezed and rubbed his nose. Who is talking about me? Chapter 26. Liku versus Netero. So beautiful. It's in the sky. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen such a beautiful night sky. Brother Ku. Look, those are stars. Killa and Gon were yelling beside him. Because I promised Aunt Mito and the residents of Whale Island that I would take good care of Gon. So Liku would take care of Gon most of the time. The 2 little guys even stole chicken legs from the kitchen just now and gave one to each of them and watched the night sky together here. Killa and Gon got along very well. How a gust of wind blew. Liku narrowed his eyes slightly. He saw with his own eyes The treasure man walked past him from behind. Very fast. It was like teleportation. It was the president of the association, Netero. As expected, if you get on the airship, you'll have the opportunity to brush this NPC, the world's strongest hunter. It's awesome. Gon didn't react much and was stunned. Killa's face changed slightly, and his eyes became extremely sharp in an instant. Data, the sound of wooden clogs came from the other end of the corridor. The three of them looked in the direction of the sound. They saw the old BD Netero was coming from this side again. This guy had just turned around. At this speed, the so-called world lightning Robert in the previous life was not even worth mentioning. Mr. Netero, did you see anyone coming from that side just now? Gon pointed at the other side with a naive look on his face and said in astonishment. No, Netero smiled, but his eyes passed Gon and Killua and fell on Liku. After finding that the other party was not surprised, he was even more surprised. This kid, sure enough, his perception is also very strong, and I actually felt a faint breath of mind from him. In other words, he actually awakened his mind? It's strange, I didn't feel this information from him yesterday. But he can open aura nodes alone without receiving any instructions. This is an absolute genius. Netero couldn't help but admire in his heart, and his eyes looking at Liku were even more fiery. President, you are quite agile at your age. Killua looked at him with contempt and exposed him bluntly. Ahem, just now I was just taking a walk. I just felt bored and wanted to find someone to play with. What do you three think? Do you have any ideas for the first Challenge Hunter test? Netero smiled. Yeah, very happy. And it's different from what I imagined. There is no brainstorming written test. Gon said excitedly. I feel very disappointed. I always thought there would be some difficulties. Will the next test be more interesting? Killua said boredly. What about you, brother Liku? Netero looked at Liku with a smile. Very good. Every test has been fruitful. Liku smiled and said calmly and naturally. His answer made Netero stunned, at least in his opinion. With Liku's strength, these tests should be very easy, not difficult and even boring. From the moment the other party spoke, he clearly felt that the other party was not lying. Interesting. He seemed to be unable to see through this little guy. Netero smiled in his heart. Are you three interested in playing a game with me? If you win, I will give you the qualification of Hunter directly. Netero suddenly smiled and said, Airship Training Room. The content of the game is very simple. It is still to snatch the volleyball from Netero. No restrictions on any attack methods. The opponent will not attack. As long as you get the volleyball, you will win. Gon was very excited, while Killua stared at Netero vigilantly and obviously entered a fighting posture. The two took the lead. Netero was like teasing a child, and he was indeed teasing a child. Gon was fooled around, and Killua, the arrogant little boy who boasted of his good strength, was sweating profusely. The two could not even touch Netero, not to mention snatching the volleyball, although the two cooperated tacitly and almost got it. But the old ST Netero used his real speed and snatched it back in an instant. No more playing. I give up. Killua looked frustrated. We were just a little bit away. Why do we give up so quickly? Gon seemed to be unable to see it. Don't you realize that this old man doesn't use his right hand and left foot at all? Even if we use a year, we can't get it. Brother Ku, this old man is too strong. Killua was helpless. He understood that the other party was deliberately playing tricks on the two of them, and it was impossible to take such a shortcut. Haha, Brother Liku, are you interested? Come and try it too. Netero smiled without saying a word and looked at Liku. His real target was this kid. Although Gon and Killua also made him optimistic, he was not yet moved. But Liku is different. This is the first time in many years that he can't help wanting to compete with his junior because he admires his strength. He can feel it. Liku and Gon Killua are completely two different levels of players. Liku seems to be waiting for something, not thinking. Ding! You and Netero enter the battle posture, and there is a 10% chance of copying the opponent's entry when you defeat the opponent. A sound like the sound of nature rang out. TSK. Defeat the opponent? This is too difficult. Liku has the urge to complain. Ding. According to the current agreement, you only need to take the volleyball from Netero to be considered as defeating the opponent. The system prompts again. This is not bad. Of course, I'm interested. President Netero. Liku smiled. Brother Ku, this old man is actually very fast. You must be careful. Killua reminded. Come on, Brother Ku. You must grab the volleyball. Gon also got excited. The two little brats sat down on the stools in the corner, staring at the two without blinking. Liku also walked forward slowly and walked to the center of the venue to confront Netero. What an amazing momentum. It is completely different from the momentum of those two kids. It even makes me feel that the person standing in front of me is really an evenly matched opponent. But according to the agreement, I will not make a move as long as you can get it, Netero said with a smile. His expression was calm, but his heart was obviously much more cautious than dealing with Killua and the other two. Unfortunately, before he finished speaking, Liku had already taken action. Haste gold, natural assassin gold, passive, super copy gold. Liku just saw Netero's steps and directly copied Netero's special steps. He also copied Killua's limb-bending assassination step. He has this ability in his entry, but if he uses it directly, it will be seen, so use super copy. In an instant, a dozen Liku rushed around Netero. Killua was stunned when he saw this scene. Isn't this the advanced assassination skill of limb bending? It's so surprising. Just by watching, you can learn such advanced footwork skills. This is incredible. In a way, Liku is already a real martial arts genius. But if you want to get the ball in my hand, this is not enough. Netero was stunned for a moment, but then he chuckled. He didn't intend to use a few tenths of his strength to deal with Killua and the others. To deal with Liku, he would naturally use stronger strength. Anyway, it's all a fish-bombing game. Really, a dozen Liku suddenly laughed. They raised their fists and aimed at the floor of the airship, but did not attack Netero. Divine Power, Red. FK. Netero's face changed drastically in an instant, and he even shouted dirty words. Chapter 27 Copy Netero. Liku's sudden action also stunned Gon and the other two who were watching the battle nearby. Divine Power, Gold. At the moment of using this ability, Liku's arm actually emitted a blazing temperature. His skin turned slightly red. The terrifying sense of power and oppression even made the two people in the corner unable to help but feel tangled in their hearts, and even felt a little difficult to breathe. What is going on? What a strong power. This airship will explode. But when Liku really took action this time, it still completely refreshed Killua's cognition. Strong. Very strong. It has reached an outrageous level. Even at this moment, he felt that the terrifying pressure emitted by Liku was definitely enough to rival his brother Ilmi. It was as if a huge shadow rose from behind Liku and then covered the sky and the sun, covering his head. Netero was even more frightened. Crazy. He also clearly felt the terrifying power of Liku's punch, which was far beyond the data provided to him by the examiners before. With this punch, the entire airship would definitely be punched into a huge hole and then fall from the sky. Everyone would be completely finished with it. Of course, as the president, he could definitely survive, but these examinees had no hope at all. So, Netero now no longer cared about the volleyball. He even turned into a shadow without any reservation and rushed out. He could clearly sense the existence of Liku's body in these phantoms. He must stop this punch. Boom, the hot fist and Netero's palm collided with each other. Netero absolutely did not dare to use his nun here. He knew very well that his ability was so powerful that he would definitely shatter the entire airship. So he could only use it. Supersonic Fist Red. Halfway through, he turned his fist into a palm, just to take on the aftermath of the collision and prevent it from spreading. As if he was worried about hurting Liku, he could not help but hold back some of his strength. But the moment the two sides collided, he regretted it a little. Liku's fist was as strong as red-hot steel. Even though he had prepared himself, he still took the punch firmly. The amazing power surged from his palm and along his arm. Even Netero, a being of his level, could not help but stagger back a step. The floor he was holding also cracked a few pieces because he could not completely resist. Blocked. This Liku is really a little lunatic. Netero couldn't help but wipe his sweat. Oops. But the next moment, he reacted too late. The volleyball fell into Liku's hands. Lost. Actually lost to little guy, failed to pretend. Ding. Congratulations on your successful defeat of Netero. 10% chance of automatically copying entries. Ding. Copy successful, ding. Congratulations on obtaining absolute wool red item. Absolute wool red passive effect. You have the will of human beings to the limit, can resist all kinds of mental and negative effects, and can still burst out full combat power when injured or even dying. There is no black item, even if there is a telekinetic master or a physical master. Lika sighed in his heart. However, the probability of successfully copying the item from the opponent is only 10%, which is already a very good luck. If you want to defeat a being of Netero's level, it is very difficult unless the opponent deliberately restrains his strength. At least it is almost impossible with Li Ku's current strength. But in general, this is at least a red item. It is also a passive item, which can be immune to all negative states of the Guardian and can burst out absolute combat power when injured and dying. And it also has the will of human limit. It seems to be pretty good. It is equivalent to adding a mental buff to yourself. Some guys' telekinesis can affect the mind. With this item, Li Ku is immune to all mental attacks. It's still a big profit. Great. Brother Ku is great. Beat the old man. After a second of silence, Gon reacted, jumped up excitedly, clapping and shouting. So that's it. Killua also suddenly realized. He finally understood that Li Ku's attack just now was not really intended to destroy the airship. It was just to deliberately attract the attention of President Netero, so as to snatch the volleyball. This is the real battle wisdom, because once Netero bursts out with real combat power, the battle can be ended in an instant. Or if this punch is really unstoppable, then everyone will be completely finished. To make such a choice, one needs absolute courage and calmness. Killua thought that if he were in Li Ku's position, he would not be able to make such a quick judgment. Moreover, limb flexion. He had just analyzed that the skill used by the other party seemed to come from on-the-spot learning. He realized it just after seeing himself use it. Genius. Brother Ku is the real genius. At this moment, Killua felt that his heart was under an unparalleled impact. In the past, he always thought that he was a martial arts genius. He could quickly learn all the skills of the family, and even his grandfather praised him as a genius that is rare in a century. Including limb flexion, he only took 3 days to master it, faster than his father. But now, he witnessed Li Ku with his own eyes, and he mastered it in just a few minutes after seeing himself demonstrate it once. Killua finally felt the feeling of being crushed by a genius. I need to become stronger. Brother Ku, taking a deep breath, Killua looked at Li Ku with shining eyes. At this moment, he found the direction of his life. He no longer chose to participate in the hunter assessment out of sheer boredom, because standing in front of him was a super high mountain that was almost insurmountable. I didn't expect it. Just now it was like this. Brother Li Ku, you are really surprising. According to our agreement, I lost this game, and I will give you the award now. Netero was a little helpless. He just came to his senses now, and everything seemed to have been designed and controlled by Li Ku. Unimaginable. A teenager can have such meticulous thinking and calm judgment. The whole process just now was extremely dangerous. As long as any one of them made a mistake, it would lead to collective death. But the other party still chose this way, so he lost directly. President Netero, I hope I can get the professional hunter license in an upright manner under the fairness of everyone. This represents the honor and fairness of professional hunter. This is just a game. If President Netero really feels bad, just owe me a favor. Lika said righteously. Netero didn't expect Li Ku to not want a license. But his favor, the value is far greater than the importance of the hunter license. What a clever kid. Okay, even if I owe you a favor this time, if you need anything in the future, I can help you deal with it without violating the principles. What an unexpected genius, Brother Li Ku. Ha. Netero laughed and was in a very good mood. At least, he definitely didn't want to use the president's privilege to issue a license. Otherwise, the guys on the V5 side would be eyeing him covetously, and they might make a fuss about this. This result is the best for both parties. Chapter 28, My Good Cellmates. Just thank President Netero first. Lika bowed politely. By the way, little brother, just now you learned Killua's skills in an instant, and it seems that you also imitated my skills. Netero asked curiously. Killa pricked up his ears immediately, and Gon was also very curious. Killa's clone skills are so cool. It's a pity that he can't do it. I guess, just some comprehension and imitation. Lika shrugged. Super copy gold, making him a copy super hunter. Of course, things like telekinesis cannot be copied like bloodline limits and can only be plundered through entries. In general, Li Ku is still omnipotent. Well, I have to say that you are definitely the most talented genius I have ever seen, old man. Two brothers. Are you interested in continuing to play games with me? It will take a long time to reach the assessment place here, Netero said with a smile, spinning a volleyball with one finger. Great. I'll do it. Grandpa. I'll do it too. Gon and Killua were stimulated by Li Ku's performance just now. Especially Killua. He had originally chosen to give up and admit defeat after realizing that Netero was playing tricks on them. But after seeing that Li Ku had successfully won, he couldn't help but feel the desire to fight again. Li Ku sat aside and watched the battle. The sun rose. In the middle of the night, Gon and Killua were exhausted and fell asleep. Netero, on the other hand, seemed to not need sleep at all. What an interesting night. Li Ku, I am looking forward to your performance in this assessment. I will wait for you to join the association, Netero said with a smile. Thank you for your care, President. Li Ku smiled. Everyone has been waiting for a long time. We have arrived at our destination. A broadcast came from the airship. Then it slowly landed on a solitary tower that towered into the sky. All the candidates were awakened one after another and got off the airship. Li Ku and his group followed. The bean-faced man announced the situation. This is the top of the trap tower, which is the starting point of the third assessment. The content of the assessment is very simple. It is to reach the ground alive within 72 hours. After saying this, the bean-faced man left directly with the airship that the president took. How to get down from here? Could it be? That guy. Look, no way. Just climb down like this. The crowd was in a commotion, because someone has already climbed directly down. It's a rock climbing expert. A bunch of idiots. This level is easy for me, a rock climbing expert. It seems that the first place in this assessment is me. The strong man was very excited. Even the nearly vertical cliffs were easy for him. At the same time, many people were eager to try, but it was obvious that others did not have such strong climbing ability, and they were a little hesitant for a while. But before everyone made up their minds, they heard screams of fear from below. Help! Help! The climbing man screamed in fear, and a monster with huge wings and a huge mouth appeared behind him. These guys have human heads and limbs, but they look extremely scary. After whistling past, they bit the man directly, and then several monsters fought and tore each other in the air, and intestines and blood splashed down. It was horrible. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Two table knives suddenly shot down from the high platform. They hit the heads of the two monsters accurately and completely sank in. The monster screamed in pain several times in the air and fell down with a whimper. Ding! Congratulations on killing the monster, human-faced night owl. Random looting entry. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining omnivore, blue, automatic crushing. Ding! Congratulations on killing. Ding! Congratulations on getting sharp teeth, blue, automatically crushed. Lika glanced at the strange birds that flew away. Name: human-faced night owl items. Omnivorous, blue, sharp teeth, blue, irritable, green, etc. Waste monster. It's a waste of energy to kill this kind of monster. Basically, they produce useless items, and the looted items can only be used as experience points. Because they are items from different series, the exchange rate is also low. Lika lost interest instantly. So strong. This guy, what did you use to kill that monster just now? It was just like a bullet. The sudden action made the candidates next to him tremble all over, and they instinctively left the range of Li Ku and others. Just now, the night owl was killed 50 meters away. Too exaggerated. If it fell on a person, there would definitely be no other result. Monster. Damn. Many candidates dared to be angry, but did not dare to speak. Killua and the others were also shocked. Lee Ku's sudden attack was too strong. Even Hisoka, who was not far away, narrowed his eyes. He felt that his evaluation of Lee Ku had to rise. This guy actually has the skill of long-range attack. Found it. There is a mechanism here. Brother Ku, Gon discovered the abnormality of the platform. Not only him, other candidates present also found the strangeness one after another. It turned out that some of the stone slabs on this platform can be flipped. By flipping, these candidates can directly enter the interior of the tower, which is the real route of the assessment arrangement. There are already fewer people present. They should have entered the interior through this flipping mechanism. Let's prepare to go down. Killua glanced around and said, but this stone slab can only allow one person to pass, which means that the 5 of us need 5 different stone slabs. And the key is, we can't guarantee that we will be together after going down. Kurapika said in a deep voice, it doesn't matter, go down, maybe we'll be together. Lee Ku smiled, and several people chose a stone slab that was closer. Then, see downstairs. It's just a short separation. Everyone must pass the test. Come on together. Be careful. Several people agreed to jump down. This should be the shortest separation in the world. Lee Ku smiled in his heart. In his memory, the 4 of them would jump in a room, and the stone slabs in the entire room area were very close, so they would fall together. Without Tampa, the troublemaker, there was no need to worry about pitting teammates in the test. Everything went smoothly. How the stone flipped. Lee Ku and his friends fell down. There was darkness in front of them, but they quickly adapted to the vision. But Gon Killua's voice was not heard as expected, and in the dim light, several pairs of strange eyes were staring at Lee Ku. Lee Ku also saw them clearly quickly. After seeing them clearly, Lee Ku was stunned. Hisoka, the nail-headed man, Hanzo, the little girl Peng Si, and himself. What a good cellmate of mine. Chapter 29, Welcome to the Fantasy Death Group. Ha. It's actually Brother Lee Ku. It's me Hanzo. Ha. I'm so lucky. The bald Hanzo shouted excitedly, his long eyelashes blinking. Satama teacher, stop pretending. Everyone knows it's you. Lee Ku complained in his heart, but he still smiled and said, Hanzo, nice to meet you. Lee, Lord Lee Ku. A weak voice came from the corner. It was Peng Si with green hair. She almost instinctively rushed over, and then grabbed Lee Ku's hand tightly, shaking all over. For her, it was just a little lamb that mixed into the lion group. I didn't expect that I would directly brush the 3 giants here. Headache. If it was just Hisoka, Lee Ku really had the urge to suppress the opponent here and kill him. Hisoka's entry is also very good, but the nail-headed man Ilmi and Hisoka are hidden allies, and his chances of winning here are not guaranteed. Although Hanzo is polite, he may not necessarily help him. Peng Si? Sorry, this NPC is most likely his so-called delivery. Ah, it turns out to be Miss Peng Si. Nice to meet you. Lee Ku glanced at Peng Si and said with a smile. Now he has the absolute confidence to protect himself. Aura nodes have been opened. Although it is not a very powerful telekinesis, his entry is too abnormal. Plus, there's the Red Eyes bloodline. You know, Kurapika can kill alone after just awakening the ability to open the Red Eyes. And it is a pure killing of the attack power king of the brigade, Yuvijin. And I also have the Red Eyes. Once it is opened, it should be no problem to beat the little Hisoka, right? Of course. The Red Eyes is my trump card, and I will not choose to open it unless it is absolutely necessary. When you are on a journey, more trump cards mean more roads. Brother Lee Ku, take this. With this we are all together, and we can start the assessment. Hanzo handed over the watch strap enthusiastically. It is a watch strap that everyone can use to vote on EXO, and it also comes with a timer. Everyone is here. We can go. Hisoka suddenly spoke, licked his lips in the direction of Lee Ku, and a wicked smile on his lips. But before Lee Ku got angry and beat him to death, he stopped while he was ahead. He walked out the first door first. The nail-headed man followed closely, and then Hanzo, who seemed to have noticed some friction between Lee Ku and Hisoka. Peng Si followed behind Lee Ku with a trembling body. Only behind Lee Ku did she feel a little safe. At least Lee Ku looked much more normal than the other three. Oh, it's a choice between left and right. Hisoka suddenly stopped and looked at everyone with a smile. How about everyone just do whatever you want and go as you see the result? I'll count 123, and everyone presses the selection together. Hanzo said excitedly. 1, 2, 3. Peng Si was the only one who chose the right side, and all 4 people, including Li Ku, chose the left side. As soon as the result came out, the little girl was frightened and turned pale, feeling as if she had done something wrong. Then there were several choices of the gates. Basically 3:2 for :1. Surprisingly, Peng Si's luck was really good. Every choice was to stand on the opposite side of everyone, especially when Hisoka and the nail-headed man turned their heads and looked at her like machines. Peng Si was so scared that she almost peed on the spot. Oh, the challenge has begun, Hanzo shouted excitedly, only to see the door in front of him rumble open, and then a guy like a ring in front slowly extended over. Below was a bottomless abyss, and ordinary people would definitely be killed if they fell down. But Li Ku would definitely not. Now he's a young Spider-Man. Then 5 handcuffed and hooded prisoners appeared on the other side of the ring. They walked quickly to the ring, and the leader took off his hood. A strong, bald man was revealed, but his bald head was obviously not as shiny as Hanzo's, because it was covered with hideous scars. The whole person looked extremely fierce. Just this appearance alone made him a complete villain. Li Ku was stunned. The guys on the opposite side were really unlucky. He actually met his dream death group. And what a coincidence! It was the scarred head that Gon and his friends were supposed to meet. If nothing unexpected happened, the 4 behind him were also the familiar villain Karami. We are the examiners employed by the review committee. You must fight the 5 of us again. The written test will be conducted in a one-on-one format. Each person can only fight once, and the order of appearance is up to you. In most cases, you can leave if you win more than 3 games. The bald man shouted, with a confident smile on his face. Lika glanced at him. Name: Serious Prisoner 1. Supporting roles do not deserve names. Entries: Strong, blue. Tyrannical, blue. Lewd, blue dregs. Before Li Ku could speak, swish! A card had already flown out. This guy had just finished speaking when a skylight opened on his head. The entire bald head was cut off from the upper half, and his brain was exposed to the air. He was stunned, feeling the top of his head was cold. Then he kept opening his mouth, and the whole person fell uncontrollably. The tofu brain in his head was scattered all over the floor. Ugh ugh. Pins vomited on the spot after seeing this scene. She felt like she had fallen into a pile of demons. This kind of time-consuming game is too boring. Who's next? Hisoka held 2 cards in his hand, and the corners of his mouth curled up. He didn't feel the slightest excitement of killing such a weak chicken. Ow! Was he killed in 1 second? How did that guy do it? Monster! The 4 prisoners behind him were a little scared. If we fail, there is only one way to die. Don't forget, even if that clown-like guy is very powerful, he can only attack once, and the remaining few seem very weak. But the problem is that we can't choose the enemy. The weakest one should be the girl, and the young man with black hair. The bald guy also looks weak, but the nail-headed man is generally more powerful. Several people even discussed it. Then I will play in the next game, but about the rules of the game. A thin and pretentious guy among the prisoners walked out with a confident smile on his face. He was the one who bet with Gon on the candle. But the moment his foot just stepped onto the ring, only a bright light flashed. Peng Si's skirt was lifted up. Then, the prisoner who took off his hood was stunned. There was a kunai between his eyebrows. It was Hanzo. According to the rules, the competition will start as soon as he enters the ring. He is such a weak opponent, but we just need to win the last game. Hanzo pulled out the kunai, and the body of the pretender slowly fell into the abyss. Chapter 30. Strong Luck. Purple. The remaining 3 prisoners were so frightened that their faces changed drastically. That bald guy was so fast. Even before, no one could see clearly what happened. That pretentious guy, the serial bomber Caesar, ended his 149-year sentence and was sentenced to death on the spot. Gurgle. FK. I don't want to compete anymore. I don't want to compete even if I have to spend the rest of my life in prison. Ugh ugh, these guys are the murderers. too damn cruel. If we don't compete, we will all die. We will all die here. I've had enough of this kind of life. Wait. Otherwise, I'll scare you up and scare them with your spider tattoo. You are a member of the brigade, and you are very good at pretending to be dead. Pretend to be dead? Damn, these demons will chop off my head even if they die. Otherwise, I'll give you the tattoo, and you go. The remaining 3 prisoners actually started to discuss. It was a tall murderer, an ugly blue-skinned freak who was convicted of fraud, and a beautiful gambler. Jahu, go. Otherwise, I will kill you now. The murderer stared at the blue-skinned, ugly man with bloodshot eyes. He was frightened by the ugly man and trembled all over. Although he looked fierce and muscular, he was actually quite weak. He was also imprisoned for fraud, especially when he saw that the bodies of the 2 companions who had just died were cold. Jahu felt that his head was also cold. I am in this game, but I have to explain the rules of the game first. In this game, we will see whose heartbeat is slower. The one with the slower heartbeat within the specified time will win. This guy learned to be smart and set the rules of the game before he stepped onto the ring. Because they are the examiners specified by the prison, although they are also prisoners, they have the right to set the rules of the game. Hearing this, the nail-headed man twisted his neck stiffly like a machine. But he didn't wait for him to do it. Liko had already stepped out. Hisoka gave the nail-headed man a look, and the nail-headed man stopped. Hanzo and Peng Si couldn't help but look at Liku's back. My lord, you must be safe. Peng Si clenched her fists, and her body trembled. On the ring. Ha ha. I actually drew the lucky lottery. This guy will be scared to death after seeing my ferocious expression and the excitement of the brigade. The heartbeat will definitely be very high by then. The ugly man was excited. Don't be excited. Don't be excited. Lower your heartbeat. Lower your heartbeat. He was thinking about how to scare the kid opposite. At least in his opinion, Liko was an extremely immature kid. He was the weakest and softest persimmon except for that girl. I am definitely lucky today, haha. The ugly man laughed wildly. Yeah, your luck is really good. I like your luck. Now he is mine. Liko also smiled. Name, Swindler Jahu entries. Shit luck, blue. Your luck will be great after stepping on shit. Bluffer, blue, cowardly, green, etc. Entries of the luck series are very rare, at least among all the people Liko met along the way. Only 2 had luck-type entries. One was the rookie killer Tampa, who was eliminated in the first round, and the other was the ugly man in front of him. So, the fish-killing knife was pulled out by Liko at some point. Then, in the stunned eyes of everyone, a shining knife net fell. The ugly man, Jahu, still had an excited smile on his face, but he stayed where he was. Hey, damn it, why don't you move? Scare this guy's heartbeat. The 2 teammates behind him were constantly urging him, but Liko had already turned and left. What's going on? Peng Si looked at Liko, who was walking back slowly with a confused expression. Hanzo's eyes widened in disbelief. Hisoka narrowed his eyes slightly. An array of brilliance flashed past. The nail-headed man couldn't help but raise his eyelids a little. The next second, crack. It sounded like something breaking. In the shocked eyes of everyone, the ugly man behind him collapsed like a pile of building blocks, turning into pieces of meat. Blood and internal organs were scattered all over the ground. The whole person couldn't be deader. Ugh. Peng Si vomited again, almost vomiting all the bile. The 2 prisoners' faces changed wildly. The gambler beauty also retched, and the tall murderer was shaking all over. Ding, you killed the swindler Jahu, and the automatic looting entry is in progress. Ding, congratulations on getting shitty luck, blue. You have luck, blue, automatically merged into good luck, dark blue. Luck effect triggered, automatically crit, automatically break through to strong luck, purple. Item, strong luck, purple description. Even when you are at your worst, this item can reverse your luck to a certain extent and forcibly increase your luck value. A heavenly sound sounded in Liku's mind. This time, the system's voice surprised Liku. The fraudster who was killed by him deserved to die. Any prisoner imprisoned in this prison is an unforgivable guy. There is no guilt in killing them. What made Liku complain was that he only lost 1 item at a time. But what surprised him was that he actually triggered a lucky crit. He actually made the item that had been fused directly have a lucky crit. It turned from dark blue to purple. Awesome. Comfortable. In this assessment, even if I can't get any other entries, just this purple strong luck entry is completely worth the money. It's a big profit. Strong luck can reverse your luck when you are unlucky. Perfect. Luck may be illusory, but it is absolutely necessary, especially when you're stronger. It is very likely that a simple difference in luck will lead to your defeat. The so-called chosen child, the child of destiny, is actually an extreme expression of luck. If I raise this entry to the extreme red, black, or even higher, can I directly transform into these children of destiny? The child of destiny? Anyone who wants to have unfavorable thoughts about me will be directly retaliated by the way of heaven, such as bad luck, disease, disaster, etc. That is really terrifying. Comfortable. This wave is cool. Warning. Candidate 406 violated the competition rules and was judged as losing this competition. The real invigilator's voice came from the loudspeaker on the wall. That is, the warden of this prison who was eating potato chips and watching the live broadcast of all the candidates. Because this game was about heartbeats, but Liku killed the opponent directly, so he was directly judged as losing. But what if he lost? All Liku wanted was a higher explosion rate of the entry. Okay, my game is over. The rest depends on you. Liku smiled and looked at the nail-headed man and Peng Si. Chapter 31, Your luck is so bad. Madman. I didn't expect that this seemingly normal person is also a madman. This brother even saved me before. So is he so perverted in his heart? Peng Si felt that she was going to collapse. How bad was her luck to fall into this death group? Although the other prisoner looked very fierce, he shouldn't be killed, and in such a cruel way. However, the arc of Hisoka's mouth was getting bigger and bigger. He felt that he was almost super excited now. He didn't expect that the fruit he expected would be so cruel and cold-blooded, which really surprised him. The nail-headed man glanced at Peng Si, who was so scared that his legs went weak on the spot, and he sat down on the ground. He had to twist his neck. There was a crackling sound. He walked slowly towards the ring. The two remaining prisoners were so scared that their faces turned pale, especially when they saw the pile of minced meat on the ring. They trembled all over. I give up. The gambler beauty raised the white flag directly. I have given up. You can't kill me anymore. I would rather stay in jail here than become a pile of minced meat. You have already won. You hurry up and pass. I don't want to see you again. Even in jail is safer than meeting you devils. The gambler beauty murmured in fear, fearing that the other party would suddenly attack her again or even take the initiative to wave the white flag. Alas, the nail-headed man sighed and shrugged, then walked back mechanically. The ring slowly extended. It turned directly into two sides of the passage, connected like a staircase. Passed. Great. Mr. Liku, your knife skills just now are really amazing. It's really amazing. The funny Hanzo shouted excitedly. Just now, Liku used only an ordinary fish-killing knife, but in just a short moment, he showed a full 55 knives. This knife speed amazed Hanzo. It's just so. Liku perfunctorily said. The team present here are all real ruthless people. But no one has any mercy. Just like Gon's team, Kurapika did not kill people who fainted. Not to mention fainting. In front of Liku, even passing dogs have to be kicked twice. But he is in a very good mood now. Strong luck purple. Very good. This item can actually trigger its own item lucky critical hit. It's ridiculously good. Ha 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 ha. The group slowly passed through the passage, but Peng Si at the back had weak legs now. She felt like she was dreaming. It was definitely a very difficult level for her, but in front of this dreamy death group, it was swept away as easily as blowing dust. Looking at the four monsters in front of her, she struggled in her heart, but finally mustered up the courage to keep up with Liku's pace. Even if she saw it with her own eyes, Liku cut a prisoner into pieces. But at least it seems that Liku is the only one in the team who might be a little normal. The two remaining prisoners trembled and gave way, watching Liku and others leave. It was not until the group of people left completely and their backs disappeared. The gambler and the murderer sat on the ground with sweat all over their bodies. I want to go back to prison immediately. Go back immediately. The murderer could no longer contain his fear, smashed the wall heavily, and roared at the camera. He was completely scared. Before this, he was the hidden boss of the whole team with the strongest strength. But now, he felt that if he blocked the way of those monsters, his fate would definitely be no different from the scammer who was cut into pieces. Why is my luck so bad? Alas, the gambler sighed. This failure will increase their sentence by several decades. I'm afraid they won't be able to get out in this life. But as long as they don't encounter these monsters, maybe this prison is the safest place. Long and deep corridor. No one knows how long they walked. After everyone reached the end, a door suddenly appeared and slowly opened. A group of people walked in. Inside was a fierce man with a scar on his face and short green hair. The aura of the other party was much stronger than those of the previous prisoners, and he had a crescent-shaped weapon in his hand. Liku just glanced at him. Name, Waste Examiner entries. Infinite 4 swords flow, blue. Sword skills, green. Frenzy, blue. Revenge, blue. Slowness, green, etc. Waste. Liku saw the truth at a glance. I've been waiting for you here for a long time. The green-haired scimitar man laughed wildly. His beast-like eyes swept through everyone and finally stopped on Hisoka. This time my target is only him. You can leave if you don't want to die. Now I am no longer a formal examiner, but an avenger. Since the end of the test last year, I have only one thought in my mind, that is, to avenge my injuries. Give me your life. The scimitar man grinned. Yeah, it seems that's all. No one of you should compete with me. Hisoka glanced at everyone and turned to Liku. The smile on his face became even wider after he found that he was not interested. Liku really didn't have much interest in this guy, with a lot of negative buff items. And as an examiner, he didn't even have telekinesis. It really couldn't be worse. Of course, ordinary hunters don't have telekinesis, but Menshi and Bahara do. What's more, it's not easy to kill Hisoka at this time. The nail-headed man is here. The situation of 2 against 1 is not easy to deal with. When his telekinesis is fully developed, let alone 2 against 1, even 20 against 1 should be no problem. The battle is without suspense. Even this examiner, who has worked hard for a year and has learned the so-called 4-sword style, is like a real clown in front of the god of toilet war. This guy's head was cut off directly. This scene scared Peng Si even more. But in comparison, it seems that Hisoka is more merciful than Liku. At least this guy just cut off the head of others, but Liku cut others into pieces of meat. But Peng Si suddenly had a flash of inspiration and stayed where he was, because Liku was bound to lose that battle. If he didn't cut that guy into pieces of meat, it is very likely that he would not let the remaining 2 choose to surrender. Then once he goes on the field, he is likely to lose here or even die. Could it be that the reason he cut the criminal into pieces was actually to intimidate the 2 people behind him and make them choose to abstain? Thinking of this, Peng Si was stunned. She looked at Liku's back stupidly. Chapter 32 Liku. Who picked me? After dealing with the examiner, there was no so-called channel selection. Instead, the gate opened and they arrived directly at the square at the bottom of the prison. Congratulations, you are the first group to pass the test. All of you passed. You are really lucky. The voice of the warden came from the wall. The empty square now only had Liku and 5 others. Passed? Just passed. Peng Si still felt like she was dreaming. She is still dizzy. In the whole process, she didn't do anything except falling down and getting her but hit. And then passed. This is probably the legendary fate lying branch. Do you want to do Hisoka here? Liku smiled and looked in the direction of Hisoka. The other party also looked over with a smiling expression. The 2 sides looked at each other for a second and then looked away. Forget it. Let's get the license first. Only with a license can you step into many places if you want to become stronger in this world. Either go find a group of top-level professional hunters, such as Gold, 12 zodiac signs, etc., or go kill the Chimera ants and step into the Dark Continent. This is the real high-end game. The bigger the wind and waves, the more expensive the fish. And the basic condition for all this is to have a legal hunter license. So Liku must take this assessment. You can't be designated as a wanted criminal nationwide by the Hunter Association before getting a license. That would be a lot of fun to play. So you'd better be patient and wait here. Soon, other candidates appeared one after another. For example, martial artist Botaro, snake brusher, etc. They're all relatively strong people. The clock on the wall is counting down. People keep coming out, and even a few fell to the ground just after stepping out of the door, dying of heart failure due to excessive physical exhaustion. After confirming death, they were dragged away directly. It's terrible, huh? Lika glanced at the countdown on the wall and frowned. Gon and his friends are so slow. They haven't come out yet? Logically, Hisoka, the nail-headed man, and Hanzo are all by his side, so the others should not pose any threat. The last 30 seconds, the loudspeaker on the wall shouted. If they haven't come out after the time is up, it will be considered a complete failure. Wow, we are here. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from one of the texts. It was Gon and his friends. The guys were dirty, and it seemed that they had slipped down from somewhere. It seemed that they encountered the legendary 5 in 3 selection. It was really helpless. The efficiency of these guys was really low. Brotherly Ku. After seeing Liku, Gon and his friends rushed over excitedly. Time is up. The number of people who passed the third test, 24. Among them, 5 died. Everyone, please go out. I'm waiting for you outside. The voice of the loudspeaker on the wall instructed. Hisoka and others stood up. All the 24 people who passed are truly the elite of the elite. Everyone seems to be not easy to mess with. Liku also followed the large group out of the prison. The bright sunshine fell. People couldn't help but squint their eyes. The breeze was gentle and the sun was warm. I didn't expect it to be such a good weather outside. Looking back, I suddenly saw the prison behind me, which was like a high tower piercing the sky. Everyone came down from the top of the prison. Congratulations to everyone for walking out of the trap tower. Now, there are only the 4th test and the final test left, and there are still 2 levels. The man with a mohawk and black frame glasses said with a smile with his hands behind his back. This guy is the warden and the chief examiner. The 4th test will be held in Binu Road. Before that, please come and draw lots. A black lottery box was taken out. The familiar lottery process appeared. The content of this game is very simple. All candidates who passed the test went up to draw lots. The numbers on the lots they drew represent the number plates to be fought for. Once you get the number plate you need to fight for, you can get 3 points directly. In addition, you can also get 3 points if your number plate is successfully saved until the end of the game. You can get 1 point for each non-designated number plate taken from other people. After accumulating 6 points, you can get a pass directly. According to this elimination system, even if everyone is lucky enough to grab the opponent's number plate, at least half of the people need to be eliminated. In other words, at most 12 people will pass in the end, but this is not realistic at all, because no one can guarantee that everyone can keep their own number plate and grab the designated number plate. Some guys even have extra number plates in their hands. In other words, the number of people who pass the test in the end is likely to be around 1 hand. No wonder there are only a few people who get a license every year in the professional hunter test. All the people went up to draw lots one after another. Liku also got his number plate. However, after seeing his number plate, Liku was stunned for a moment. 301. Oh wow, I didn't expect that I would draw the nail-headed man. Ilmi. Is this considered good luck? Huh, what a pity. It's a pity that I didn't draw Hisoka. What did you draw? Liku called Gon and the others. Oh wow, Gon actually drew number 44 Hisoka. Is it the power of the fate line? Or the maintenance of good luck? Very good. Others also drew their own cards. Killua's was number 191 martial artist Boudreaux, a weakling. Liurio was not Peng Si, but a number 34 dragon. Kurapika was number 197 Yamori. After drawing their own cards, the candidates present hurriedly removed their number plates on their chests, because everyone knows that the number plate on the chest will become the most prominent mark. However, some people did not remove it. Liku, Killua, Hisoka, and the nail-headed man. Brother Ku, why don't you take off your number plate? It will be easy to become the target of public criticism. Gon was a little worried. The fun of the competition comes with opponents. Killua put his hands in his pockets and looked cool. Lika suddenly took a step forward. His eyes swept over the candidates present. Then he said loudly, "Everyone, I am number 44. Who of you drew my number?" Lika said loudly, "Only a thief can steal for 1,000 days, but you can't guard against thieves for 1,000 days. The number plate on the chest will indeed attract a group of flies, but it is also like a fishing bait." But Liku was too lazy to waste time with these guys. If anyone draws his number plate, he can be eliminated on the spot. After solving the unknown troubles, the rest is a happy hunting time. The crowd was instantly silent by Li Ku's operation. Damn, this guy is so arrogant that he actually showed his number plate directly. Being arrogant in a place like this will only make you die faster. If I'm not mistaken, there are more jungles on that island. I have 10,000 ways to kill him in the jungle. Don't worry, someone will cure him. He will definitely regret being so arrogant. No one spoke, but many people were whispering about Li Ku. They looked at Li Ku with displeasure. Li Ku was so high profile. Wasn't he mocking their incompetence? No. Li Ku was a little stunned, and then smiled. It seemed that the other party was afraid of him. That doesn't matter. When the enemy comes, the general will fight, and when the water comes, the earth will cover it. I drew your number. Suddenly, a voice rang out in the crowd. Chapter 33, it turns out that he is a gentle person. Li Ku looked in the direction of the voice and suddenly saw a familiar face. Amidst a group of ferocious figures, a nervous girl walked out with difficulty. She looked like she was about to cry. An old acquaintance, Peng Si, the loli who got points for nothing before. She trembled as she took out the number plate she had drawn. Her luck was absolutely terrible. In the last round of assessments, she had drawn the opposite choice to Li Ku and other demons every time. And this time, she directly drew Li Ku's number plate. Even when she got this number plate, she wanted to throw it away. The image of the guy who was cut into pieces in the assessment appeared in her mind. Too cruel. Will she be cut into pieces too? Master Li Ku. I give you my number plate. You saved me back then. I choose to abstain. Tears flashed in Peng Si's eyes, and she trembled as she took out her number plate. 246. Brother Ku. Gone, and the others looked at Li Ku. Obviously, as a child, they also thought that Peng Si, who was also a child, looked a little pitiful. Even before the open competition, she chose to eliminate herself directly. She also took the initiative to give her number plate to Li Ku. She understood. The moment she drew Li Ku's number plate, she had basically lost this test, because if she wanted to pass the test, she had to get at least 3 other number plates, but she couldn't find 3 candidates who were weaker than her. What a fool. You chose to give up this number plate after coming here. Since you don't want it, I'll take it. A sturdy man rushed out of the crowd, staring at Peng Si's number plate. This was exactly what he needed. As long as he got this number plate, it meant that he got a ticket to the next final. Even if there was a risk in grabbing the number plate now, it was definitely worth a try. This guy was sturdy, but his speed was very good. He rushed to Peng Si in just a breath. Got it. His face was filled with excitement. He had already made up his mind. After grabbing the number plate, he would hide in the jungle until the end of the game. But just when his hand was about to touch the number plate, a shadow passed by. It was Killua with short silver hair, his hands as sharp as claws. Blood splattered. The strong man fell to the ground with a dull expression, and the number plate in his hand rolled down. Killua bent down and slowly picked it up. After taking a look, he threw it to Li Ku. Brother Ku, this is not the number plate I want. 105? Li Ku took a look at the number plate. Not what anyone in the team needed. A useless card worth 1 point. Sir, my number plate. Here. Peng Si's hands were shaking. To be honest, it was naturally unbearable to give up directly at this point. But she also knew that she had almost no chance. Moreover, the other candidates present looked at her with very bad eyes. You can say that. She has almost been labeled as a soft persimmon. Obviously, the next round is the real elimination round, and the weaker the contestant, the faster they will be eliminated. There is even a risk of life in the elimination. It has come to this point, it's not good to just give up, right? Lika glanced at Peng Si. A green-haired Lolita. Maybe she will grow up to be a beautiful girl. Now, it is obviously a training system. If I remember correctly, Her ability should be that there are many bees in the big hat on her head. She has the ability to drive bees. Name: Peng Si entries. Drive bees, blue, analysis, blue, melee, green, cowardly, white, etc. Quite weak Lolita. However, bees seem to be quite useful in the next exam room, at least before there is a telekinesis circle. The range that bees can detect is definitely the largest among all candidates. In fact, in the original plot, Peng Si also used the detection range of bees, so she was able to avoid danger. She even solved the snake brusher Scarpong. It can be regarded as a radar scout. Peng Si instinctively took a step back and looked at Li Ku in horror. She really couldn't connect the handsome face in front of her with the murderous demon. "Are you interested in joining our team?" Li Ku suddenly asked. Peng Si thought she had heard wrongly. Sir, did you just say, let me join your team? But I'm so weak, I don't have. Everyone has different abilities, and your abilities are exactly what I need. If you consider joining, I can help you pass this assessment. Li Ku said lightly. I promise. Sir. Peng Si immediately nodded excitedly. Give me the number plate. Peng Si was confused. Didn't the other party agree to let her join his team? Why did he take away her number plate? But without the number plate, it means she is completely eliminated. But out of instinctive trust, Peng Si still handed her number plate to Li Ku. In the next second, she was surprised to see Li Ku hand her number plate to her. That's good. My number plate is also worth 3 points. I'll put it with you first. It's highly likely that no one will be willing to grab my plate. Li Ku shrugged and played with Peng Si's number plate. Let's go. Wow. Welcome to join me. I'm gone. Liurio, but please call me Mr. Liurio. Kurapika. Peng Si was stunned. After she reacted, tears welled up in her eyes and a smile bloomed on her face. She chased after him. This Lord Li Ku didn't seem as bad as she had imagined. He turned out to be such a warm person. In the last round of assessment, he must have cut that person into pieces to protect himself. Peng Si's pretty face flushed as she chased after him. The many examinees behind him looked at Li Ku and others with strange expressions. Ha! This Li Ku is really a wonderful person. Hanzo scratched his bald head and laughed. Everyone, please board the ship for the third test. We expect to arrive at the destination in 2 hours. In addition, all candidates who have passed the previous assessment will enjoy free round-trip travel to the examination center next year. So if you didn't pass this year, don't be disappointed. Welcome to challenge again next year. The beautiful tour guide smiled at everyone. Other candidates also boarded the ship one after another. After all the candidates boarded the ship, the whistle sounded, and the ship slowly sailed towards the next examination center. Chapter 34. Can't I just block the boat and kill him? On the ship, even a lot of food was prepared for the reception, but at this moment, no one was in the mood to eat. At least most of the candidates were like this, but this did not affect Li Ku's appetite. Eat when you should eat, drink when you should drink. Peng Si nervously pinched her fair little hands and joined Li Ku's team. Soon, the ship arrived at the destination, Binu Island. That is where the examination venue for this assessment elimination round is located. Because the tour guide lady had previously stated that fighting on the ship was not allowed, otherwise it would be directly eliminated. Male Li Ku now plans to earn all the points directly on the ship. It's like catching the Dragon Ball again after making a wish. There is a suspicion of cheating. It is likely that similar things have happened before, so the association has made special regulations. Everyone can only do things according to the regulations of the assessment. Everyone, we are here. Please disembark in the order of passing the third test. The next person can disembark 2 minutes after the previous person disembarks. You will stay on the island for 1 week. Please stay for 6 minutes and then come back here. Please disembark the first candidate first. The beautiful tour guide called out to everyone. The first one to disembark was Hisoka, because this guy was the one who solved the last examiner. Although it was the whole team, he was the first to leave at that time. The second was Li Ku. The third was Hanzo. The fourth was the nail-headed man. And the fifth was Pins. Other candidates also disembarked one after another. Gon and his team fell behind. Brother Ku, be careful. We will be here soon. Gon called out excitedly. 2 minutes is enough for these powerful candidates to move a very long distance. And when Li Ku disembarked, Hisoka's figure had disappeared. Huh? Brother Ko, why don't you leave? Gon was stunned. Killua and the others were also confused, because they found that Li Ku was still parked next to the ship. Although he said he got off the ship, he was actually standing not far from the sampan. This strange scene made the other candidates present feel strange. Mr. Li Ku, this island is very big. Don't you consider leaving first? Hanzo, who got off the ship after waiting for 2 minutes, was a little strange. I'll wait for my friend here. Li Ku smiled. Hanzo, you go first. Okay, then I wish you good luck. I'll go first. Hanzo walked directly and quickly into the forest. It was just that the candidates on the boat at this moment were inexplicably nervous, because everyone could see that the reason why Li Ku was waiting here must be to directly brush the score. What a damn arrogant guy. Is he going to block the ship and kill us? Everyone, if this guy dares to attack us, we will attack together and kill him first. Yes, that's it. Damn it. I don't believe he can beat all of us alone, and he has a partner. Suddenly, the eyes of the candidates on the ship looked at Gon and others with some hostility. Everyone knew clearly that Gon and his friends were in the same group with Li Ku, especially the weakest two guys, Peng Si and Liurio. They're all a group of little ghosts, so they shouldn't be difficult, right? However, Killua's move just now still shocked many people, making the candidates present a little afraid. The next one was the nail-headed man Ilmi, who frowned slightly and twisted his head like a machine towards the direction of the mountain opening Li Ku. He also realized that Li Ku seemed to be waiting for him. How arrogant. He got his own number? What a stupid little guy, but Hisoka warned him on the boat that if he wanted to touch his prey fruit, he would not have a good ending. Uncomfortable, the nail-headed man Ilmi glanced at Li Ku, pretended not to see him, and walked away. Wait, your number plate is this, right? Otherwise, let's go to the grove next to us to solve it. Li Ku took out the lot he drew. Little Killua, brother is helping you vent your anger. The nail-headed man turned his head with difficulty like a machine. With a mohawk hairstyle and a face full of nails, he looked like a very difficult person. Just like a gangster with tattoos all over his body. Even if he didn't know how strong the other party was, the tattoos were quite intimidating. This is the case with the nail-headed man. This guy in particular had a lot of needles stuck in his head. As a result, few candidates dared to approach him along the way. No one expected that Li Ku would take the initiative to deal with this monster. So that's it, this guy drew this nail-headed man. Ha, there will be a good show. One of them will have to die. I really hope both of them die. This is the best for us. But I feel that the guy with a head full of nails will be more powerful. How about we bet and see who can survive in the end? Come on, it will be our turn soon. Who can guarantee that they can survive? The candidates on the boat couldn't help but whispered. Brother could have gone, and the others were also full of worry. That nail-headed man is very dangerous. Killua frowned, although he had never fought with the other party, but he felt very bad. There was even a faint sense of familiarity. Lord Li Ku. Peng Si twisted her fingers together nervously. You are talking to me? The nail-headed man spoke slowly, and his expression was like that of a long-dead corpse, which made people feel very uncomfortable. Plate number 301, if your eyes are not blind, it is most likely yours. Li Ku nodded. The nail-headed man was silent. He really didn't want to fall out with Hisoka, because this guy is Hisoka's prey. If the other party is killed or disabled here, or his will collapses, at that time, Hisoka might fall out with him. This is indeed a very risky choice. Of course, you can also choose not to fight with me. Just give me a number plate. I have always been peace-loving. Li Ku smiled and stretched out his hand. The nail-headed man was silent. The remaining candidates on the boat were also stunned. This kid is really mean. Any normal person would kill this kid. It's a pity that my number plate doesn't belong to this kid. Otherwise, I must let him see why the flowers are so red. Li Ku's words even made them all angry. Okay, you took the initiative to find it. It has nothing to do with me. The nail-headed man agreed expressionlessly, and then went straight to the depths of the jungle. Li Ku followed behind him, with his back to Gon, and waved goodbye to the others. Chapter 35, I don't know how I lost deep in the jungle. It was quiet and deserted. The nail-headed man finally stopped. His neck bones made a crackling sound, as if they would break at any time. Like a rusty robot, he slowly turned around. I didn't want to do anything to you, but since you asked for it, you can't blame me. The nail-headed man took out a recorder. Of course, I came to you on my own initiative, Lika said loudly. It's really interesting. It seems that this Ilmi really cares about Hisoka's opinion and even recorded the evidence in advance. Snap! The recorder turned off. The nail-headed man had a handful of the same nails in his head in his hand. Name: Nailhead Ilmi entries. Thread nails and Mittermind, gold. Zoldyck assassination, gold. Physical skills, gold. Disguise, purple. Poison resistance, purple. Control desire, purple. Digging, purple. Sadism, blue. Sleepy, green, etc. Oh, what a genius. Entry: Thread nails mind, gold. Effect: when the target is hit by this ability, the body will be directly controlled. TSK, TSK, TSK. Isn't this the otherworldly version of the thread fruit? Not bad. This guy does have a few very good entries. Of course, when it comes to disguise, his is too rubbish. He has to put a lot of nails on his body, and it doesn't last long. And his own super copy is really amazing. Not only can it be maintained all the time, but it can also be perfectly copied, which is much higher than his. Of course, if you can get some good entries from this guy, it would be great. Profits and the like are just the extra value of work. What kind of person do you want to become? The nail-headed man suddenly said, but this time I won't kill you, but I will let you experience another kind of life. His face was as stiff as a corpse, and a smile was forced out. With the power of thread nails and the disguise technique, he can force plastic surgery on the opponent after defeating him. He planned to turn Liku into an ugly woman to try. He also liked to destroy the hearts of these so-called geniuses. Only a heart that has been destroyed will become stronger. For example, his poor brother. Is it to be your father? But I can't give birth to a child as ugly as you. Liku answered. His figure turned into a shadow. Speed gold. Poison gold. Divine power red. Iron plate tank gold. Spider sense purple. Various active abilities are directly activated. Liku's fist even became red and hot due to friction with the air. The eyes of the nail-headed man, Ilmi, suddenly changed. He clearly felt the terrifying power of Liku's fist, especially the speed of the opponent's sudden burst, which was simply incredible. Even compared to him as a top assassin, he was not inferior at all. But the problem now was, he was in a disguised state and could not use all his combat power. And this guy seemed to have the habit of sneak attacks. He did not have any style of a master at all, and he killed the opponent with one move. Very cruel. But this is a real assassin. He had taught himself countless times that the poor brother would not attack the opponent before he was absolutely sure. For example, he agreed to Liku's challenge because he was absolutely sure that he could defeat the opponent. Swish, 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 swish. It was so fast that it was dazzling. It was even impossible to see how the nail-headed man made his move. His nails mixed with some telekinetic line nails shot towards Liku. The opponent is indeed very fast and fierce. But this is just right. It must be painful to be stabbed in the face. The real show is coming. As long as his telekinesis penetrates the target's body, it will directly hook the opponent like a fishhook and then control the opponent's body. Reckless kid, you must learn some lessons. Even if you are the prey that Hisoka's pervert has set his sights on. Ilmi sneered in his heart. But as the distance between the two sides was rapidly closing, his expression was slightly moved because he didn't see any intention of Liku to dodge. Fighting madman, he actually chose such a lose-lose battle. But his attack must hit the opponent first. He didn't think his physical skills were weak, did he? Ilmi was a little disappointed. He didn't even know why Hisoka was so obsessed with this guy. Ding, 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 ding. And the next moment, those steel needles that shot out seemed to hit an iron plate. It actually made a sound like steel colliding, including his telekinesis. Actually, didn't pierce the opponent's body in the first place? What happened? The nail-headed man, Ilmi, was shocked. Just this moment of shock. Bang, a terrifying heavy punch, like a meteor of fire, directly hit his crossed arms. The terrifying power was released instantly, and the hot air waves swept in all directions. Several nearby trees were directly blown off. Ilmi's feet even dragged out a 10-meter gully. A charred fist mark appeared on his crossed arms, and there were traces of poison around the fist mark. The right arm forearm was directly twisted and broken, and the steel nails pierced in his arms fell off, revealing his hands that were originally as white as a woman. But the head was still intact. At this moment, he looked like a monster with half white and half purple. One punch destroyed his disguise. The severe pain from both arms did not make the nail-headed man show any pain on his face. It was as if the arm was not his. Very strong. This kid was so strong beyond my expectation, especially the punch just now. The pure strength even suppressed me, although I was in a disguised state and could not fight with all my strength. But the opponent could burst out such amazing punching power, which was really amazing. But what really shocked Ilmi was his steel needle could not break the opponent's defense. This guy was actually a master of horizontal training. Incredible. I didn't kill him with one punch. Lika slowly retracted his smoking and burning fist. He moved his neck and made a crackling sound. You really surprised me a little. Your strength, speed, and defense are far beyond ordinary people, but unfortunately, you have already lost now. The nail-headed man looked at Li Ku expressionlessly and spoke mechanically, because his thread needle had already penetrated deep into Li Ku's skin. This guy's defense is definitely the most amazing I've ever seen, even tougher than those specialized defensive monsters. But it's a pity. Generally, the stronger the body, the easier it is to control, because they often neglect the training of the spirit when exercising the body. The needles not only control the muscles, but also the nerves. Really? I don't know, how can I lose? Liku smiled. He naturally saw these needles clearly in his eyes. After all, at least, I'm also a nun. Chapter 36. Physical Strength and Gold. Force Duet. The nail-headed man made a hollow grip. Any target hit by his needle power will become his puppet. But the next moment, his zombie face was dull. Liku was still walking slowly towards him. Ineffective? Why? His own power failed? How is it possible? Keep grabbing. Liku was still not affected at all, but the problem is that the needle was clearly pierced into the opponent's body. Although it didn't penetrate very deep, it was definitely enough to control the opponent's body. The scene in front of him completely broke through Ilmi's cognition. What are you looking at? Do you want to say hello to your father? Liku smiled. His muscles suddenly tensed up. Iron plate 10 gold. Absolute wool red. Divine power red. Just kidding. I killed hundreds of Warcraft pigs and stacked gold plate armor. And I also have Netero's red wool entry. Not to mention controlling my own body. Even nerve reactions can be forcibly controlled by will. At that time, Netero could even control his broken leg to close the wound automatically. Your little needle, Roan Mama, it's too small. It can't pierce me. Lika grinned. Explosive step. Charge punch. His right fist became hot again. In just a split second, he rushed to the front of the nail-headed man. He punched him in the head. The air was rubbed and made a bang. Because he was too strong, the needles that Ilmi had pierced him broke directly. The nail-headed man's face finally changed suddenly. Boom, a violent explosion. The hot air wave rolled up. It was like being hit head-on by a missile. This punch was even more violent than the previous one. Several unlucky trees nearby were blown down on the spot. The nail-headed man was smashed and flew dozens of meters away like a sandbag, and the trees along the way that were as tall as two people were broken one after another. A bloody mark was rubbed out on the ground. A wisp of green smoke came out from Liku's fist. The burning red gradually dissipated and returned to calm. Weak chicken. He spat at the end of the gully in the distance. Ding. You defeated Ilmi. 10% probability, automatically copying the entry. Ding. You heard the echo of strong luck burst. Ding. The copy was successful. Congratulations on getting Sleepy Green. Ding. You heard the duet of strong luck double burst. Get an extra strong draw opportunity. Ding. Force copying was successful. Congratulations on getting physical skills gold. The sound of nature sounded in Liku's mind. Damn. Awesome. Lika couldn't help but be ecstatic. It was absolutely super profitable to participate in this assessment. Especially strong luck, purple. This thing is simply my lucky star. Although it is just a purple entry. It doesn't look conspicuous among all his entries, but it makes him super happy at the critical moment. This time, it's a duet explosion. It's just super luck. As the system sound fell, countless information and energy poured into Liku's limbs. Physical skills, gold. As a top assassin, the family is also very amazing in the tempering of their own physical fitness. In order to obtain this level of physical skills, they have undergone extremely arduous training. Now, all of this has made wedding clothes for Liku. The only pity is, at the end of this ravine, Liku has seen that it is a cave. The nail-headed man actually dug the ground and ran away. There's still a lot of bloodstains on the hole. It's worthy of being a top assassin family. Even the way of escaping is so unique. Liku sneered, "If you can't beat me this time, you will never beat me again." Poor guy. Comfortable. Liku picked up the number plate that Ilmi dropped on the ground. His points were all cleared. A gold entry was also released. So happy. I have to find a chance to beat Hisoka. This guy is also capable. It would be best if he could get an entry. Of course, Hisoka might be in a lot of trouble, because the reason why Ilmi was defeated so quickly was entirely because this guy was in a disguised state and could not show 100% combat power. And there was a huge error in his judgment of Liku. In addition, Liku did not have the habit of talking nonsense. He started with full firepower. Ilmi thought Liku only had 10 combat power, but Liku went full firepower. He came out with 100 firepower. He took out 30 firepower and thought he could take it steadily, but he exploded. He went full firepower twice in a row. Ilmi exploded on the spot. The people on Whale Island are all honest people. They try not to talk if they can, and they will kill directly if they can. That's right. This island is too big, and I don't know where my radar is gone. Wait, maybe she will wait for me there. Liku turned around and left after thinking of something. But Liku felt helpless after looking at his completely shattered right arm sleeve. Divine Power Red is too strong. His sleeves often explode, and even his tops are rotten a lot, causing the perfect muscle lines like a cheetah to be exposed. It seems that I need to prepare a few more sets of clothes in the future. The problem is that there are no space rings in this world, but it would be nice if I could plunder a space-related entry in the future. He is a good hand at home travel. Next to the ship, several waves of people have come down. Peng Si waited tremblingly next to the ship. She did not receive Liku's instructions, but she positioned herself very accurately. That is, she was Liku's tool. You have to be obedient. And everyone on the ship heard a loud noise coming from the forest in the distance. Damn it. What the hell is going on over there? There's such a loud noise, it's like a bomb. You can't bring weapons like bombs into this test. Is there someone who violated the rules? No way. I don't see anyone carrying a bomb among the people who just got off the ship. Do you remember that direction seems to be the direction that the monster Liku left? Don't worry about it. Running quickly, you will definitely die if you meet those monsters later. These candidates talked and didn't dare to delay any longer, because there was a madman who blocked the bridge directly before. These candidates got off the ship one by one and looked at Peng Si, but realized that the other party had the monster's number plate in his hand, which was only worth 1 point, and left one after another. Peng Si, aren't you going to the forest yet? Gone, and others finally got off the ship. They were the last ones. I'm waiting for Lord Liku. Peng Si said nervously. I'm leaving first. Tell Brother Ku. Killua put his hands in his pockets, squinted his eyes, and looked at the forest in front of him, and left directly. He came to participate in this test to temper himself. It was not to get a license under the protection of Liku. Otherwise, such persistence would be meaningless to him. Me too, be careful. Kurapika also chose to leave. These guys, then I'll leave too. Peng Si, aren't you leaving yet? Leorio looked around and didn't see Liku, so he chose to leave. I want to wait for Lord Liku. Peng Si gritted his teeth. Then I'll wait for Brother Ku with you. Gone, Brother, Kush should have gone deep into the jungle. If we want to find him, we have to go in, Leorio reminded. The two continued to wait for a few minutes, and chose to leave after not seeing Liku. The island is very large. In addition, those candidates acted separately. If you want to get enough points, it is also best to act separately. If you form a team, you may not be able to find so many license plates. Next to the ship, only Peng Si was still anxiously waiting. Chapter 37, Assessment? Isn't it about taking a girl to experience life in the wilderness? Deep in the forest, in a certain area, a body of a candidate holding a spear fell to the ground. His forehead and back of the head were pierced by cards. Standing in front of this body was Hisoka. Suddenly, the ground not far away surged. Hisoka frowned slightly, and then understood. It was Ilmi. This guy came here, but he just dug it? I need to rest. Ilmi's voice came from underground. At this moment, both of his arms seemed to be broken, and there were even traces of burns on his chest. Lika's last punch made him feel like he was hit by a meteorite head-on. If it weren't for his strong mental power, I'm afraid that punch would have crippled him. But now his hands are injured, and there is poison. He needs some time to deal with it. Oh, Hisoka sniffed, and his eyes suddenly became very dangerous. Swish! Several cards actually shot out directly and pierced into the ground. What are you doing? Hisoka. Ilmi's angry voice came from a cave. You touch my fruit. It seems that the fruit is becoming more and more sweet and tempting. Ho ho ho. Hisoka suddenly laughed pervertedly, and his face flushed with excitement. The next second his smile was restrained, and it turned into bone-chilling coldness and danger. This is the last time. If I see you touching my fruit again, next time, you will die. Ilmi's silence answered him. Okay, just have a good rest, Hisoka laughed then. Beside the ship, Peng Si was very entangled in her heart. She was hesitating about how to find Liku. Oh, sure enough, it's here. Come with me. Can you find Gon and the others? Liku's voice came, and he came with his right arm torn. Seeing the other party's strong chest and muscles, as well as his intact body, Peng Si was stunned, because she also saw Liku's appointment with a nail-headed man. And now, Liku appeared intact. Does that mean the nail-headed man was defeated? Sure enough. So strong. So awesome. Peng Si was distracted. Liku's hand was already on her little shoulder, and her head was no good. Touching the head to kill is not good for a girl with a beehive on her head. Can you find Gon and the others? Liku asked with a frown. Yes. I put bees on Gon, Leorio, and Karapika, but Killa, he cleaned up the bees. Peng Si came back to her senses and said hurriedly, It doesn't matter. From now on, you are my toy. Tool. Release your bees as much as possible and find candidates nearby. Tell me when you find them, and I'll clean up the stall. Lika said, Understand, but the range of bees is also limited. I will try my best. Peng Si nodded repeatedly. Lika strode into the forest with her. A man and a woman surviving in the wilderness? Binu Island is very big. There are only 24 candidates in total, including the nail-headed man who was cleared out on the first day. Everyone knows to go in different directions, at least when they're not absolutely sure that they can take down the opponent's number plate. Originally, this should have been a fair competition. Unfortunately, now that Liku, Hisoka, and the nail-headed man have joined the boss level, it has completely turned into a fish pond bombing game. The 100-star King Bronze bullies the weak. Idle people stay out of the way. The beach. Sir, shouldn't we go find other people now? Peng Si said nervously, because she was shocked to find that Li Kun not only did not think of looking for other people, but came directly to the beach to take her fishing. Fishing man, take a girl, and soon caught a few fat fish. Then, set up a grill and started barbecue. And just hunted a pheasant and 2 hares in the forest. The entries on these things are all garbage. White. It is worth it to crush them directly into transparent small crystals to add experience. The 7-day assessment time is too long. The island is so big that there's no need to look for it at this time. And the environment here is very good, just right for vacation and rest. Li lay comfortably on the beach, enjoying the afternoon sun. Peng Si acted as a maid and was responsible for the barbecue. This was also what she wanted, at least to let Li Ku see her value. But she was worried that everyone could not pass this assessment, especially if it dragged Li Ku down, which was something she did not want to do in her heart. But sir, there are only so many license plates. If we don't snatch them now, then it will be better then. Can't we just snatch them directly from them? Don't worry, the last day is the real harvest. Please help me keep an eye on Gon and the others. If there is an accident, we will rush over. Li Ku replied, although he promised Aunt Mito and the residents of Whale Island to take care of Gon. But he didn't want to be a nanny, because being a nanny is not free. But at least the people of Whale Island raised him up and saved his life, so he could help Gon at a critical moment. Now the only focus is the last match. He will KO Hisoka. Get that guy's number plate. I am so strong now, ha ha ha. Soon, the tempting smell of fish wafts out. There are also roasted chicken and roasted rabbit, which are all Li Ku's specialties. Peng Si is drooling. Sir, the meat is roasted. Do you need me? I feed you. Peng Si blushed. She came to take the professional hunter exam. How come she is a waitress now? However, if she can follow Li Ku, she also feels extremely satisfied and fulfilled in her heart. And now there is a trace of happiness. Let's eat together. After eating, take a good rest, expand your bee's perception range as much as possible, and tell me if you find someone breaking in. Li Ku waved his hand and started eating directly. This kind of primitive, deserted island, bringing a little lowly to survive in the wilderness. It still has a different taste. The progress of the two people's exploration can be said to be quite slow. Sunset. Peng Si approached Li Ku a little nervously. I accidentally touched Li Ku's arm, and after finding that he didn't resist, I slowly moved closer to him. The two of them had already set up a campsite and even a temporary shelter. This is simply, while others were taking the test here, Li Ku was directly doing wilderness adventure survival. If there was a live broadcast stand, he could start broadcasting directly. It's really annoying. I don't sleep in the middle of the night, just looking there. What the hell is going on? Li Ku suddenly stood up and looked at the dark forest in the distance. Chapter 38. Aren't New Year pigs fattened before being slaughtered? Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sound of breaking through the air came. It was an arrow. There was almost no trace in the dark night. The opponent was obviously ambushing Li Ku on purpose. Li Ku's magic spider induction now covers a range of nearly 100 meters. This thing is induction through frequency, not telekinesis. That is, the surrounding plants and animals are generally at a specific frequency. Any disturbance will change this frequency, and where the frequency fluctuates is naturally where other people appear. So even if the circle has not been developed yet, Li Ku can easily sense the people nearby. But Peng Si's bees obviously can't detect the candidates who are well hidden. The arrows in the dark night cannot be detected by the naked eye. But in the magic spider induction, it is extremely clear, like a candle in the dark. The traces of them can be clearly seen in the circles of frequency ripples. Li Ku slightly turned sideways and easily avoided the arrow. It seems to be a 3-shot burst. The technique is good. Bakua. On the treetops, the candidate who attacked was stunned. He didn't expect his attack to be avoided so easily. The other party could actually see the attack in the dark. Realizing that something was wrong, he prepared to retreat. But suddenly he heard a sharp sound of breaking through the air behind him. When he reacted, he was shocked to see a black javelin coming towards him. Bang, it was a stick used to roast suckling pigs, which instantly pierced his chest. It took the whole person away and even pierced a huge tree behind him. Is this guy human? Before he died, a thought flashed through the candidate's mind. And in the distance, Li Ku had a blank expression. Those who kill people will be killed. Since the other party came with malicious intent, he was not a good person. Divine power read. The thrown roast-suckling pig stick easily killed the guy in the bushes. However, there are really a lot of mosquitoes at night. There are always some stupid guys who want to go against me. In another dark bush, a pair of venomous snake-like eyes were glowing. 384 Hunter Greta. He is the guy with the most jungle life experience among all the candidates. He even hunted many powerful monsters in the jungle. His blowgun has neurotoxins, which will instantly paralyze and kill people if the skin is scratched. At the moment when Liku just attacked, 2 black poison needles were blown out silently. There was no trace in the dark night. The blowgun accurately hit Liku's neck. Greta's eyes lit up, and he couldn't help but get excited. When he was on the boat, he had already disliked Liku. This guy is too arrogant and arrogant. He even blocked the boat and killed people. He looked down on all of them. Today, he will teach him a lesson. In this jungle, only experienced hunter is the final winner. Ding-ding, a slight, steel-like collision sound. It became particularly clear in this quiet night. Greta was stunned for a moment. Then her expression was as if she had seen a ghost. Her blowgun was specially made, and it could break the skin and flesh of even a monster with strong defense. What about humans? But in front of her, the blowpipe clearly pierced Lika's neck, but it broke. There was not even a pinhole on the opponent's skin. How is it possible? How can human skin defense be stronger than that of monsters? Greta felt that his brain was not enough. Suddenly, he couldn't help but shudder. As an experienced hunter, his sixth sense gave him an indescribable life-and-death crisis. His face changed drastically, and he chose to escape without any hesitation. He had decided that he would never deal with such a pervert again. This guy was not human at all, but just as he was about to leave, Greta was confused again, because he just turned around and saw a familiar yet strange back. The other party was squatting in front of him. Why was he wearing the same clothes, shoes, and gloves as himself? Wait, how could his blowpipe be in his hand? That guy, why didn't he have a head? Greta couldn't understand, but suddenly saw his vision spinning. He seemed to react at the last second. That seemed to be his headless body. A fish-killing knife appeared on the tree behind him. The blade cut into the trunk, and the handle was still shaking. Peng Si, prepare to clean the floor. Bring the 2 number plates over and wash the blood on them. Otherwise, they will stink tomorrow. I'm going to sleep first. Liku yawned. The rest of the things can be left to his sweeping robot Peng Si. Peng Si. The poor girl vomited again after seeing the body nailed to the tree and Greta's head cut off. No words for the whole night. 2,000 words omitted. Daybreak. The entire island is very large, and the probability of candidates meeting in a pile is very low. Or the purpose of the association designing this assessment is to test everyone's field combat ability. It takes at least 3 days to cross the entire island normally. So at the beginning of the assessment, the association gave instructions that the assessment would end at the other end of the island. The next few days were all about playing soy sauce. Noon on the 7th day. Sir, we have gained nothing these days. If we continue at this pace, it will be difficult to pass the assessment. If you are short a number plate, I will give it to you. These days, thanks to you, I can get here. Peng Si suddenly blushed and lowered her head and spoke. If it weren't for Liku's help, she didn't think she could have successfully persisted until now. And all along the way, thanks to Liku's care for her. Hasn't the game just started? Don't be so anxious. You have done very well these days. Since I promised to take you a game, I will not break my promise. Liku walked in front and waved his hand without looking back. In fact, he had already scored enough points, and now he was just saving some points for Gon and the others. But, sir, Peng Si was a little worried. Let go of your bees, and there will be a lot of goods coming up soon. Liku ordered. The 2 have arrived at the end of the game. The association did not give a specific boarding area, only that it was the east coast of the island. The whole island is in the shape of a shoe. Sir, what do you mean? Peng Si finally understood. Why didn't Liku have any intention of taking the initiative these days? Instead, he took her on a leisurely vacation, but she was still very obedient and spread her bees in this area. The New Year pigs can only be killed when they are fat. Instead of picking up these license plates one by one, it is better to grab them in handfuls. Liku smiled and stood directly on the wide area of the East Coast. Chapter 39. Getting something for nothing. We are still 2 numbers short. Damn it. Time is running out. Hey, there's someone over there. Ha. We are so lucky. Chill, be quiet. Same old routine. 3 figures shuttled through the jungle. A few bees stopped not far from them. East Coast. It's this guy? He's still alive? Kid, If you don't want to die, hand over your number plate. And that woman, you're unlucky to meet us 3 brothers. The 3 candidates formed a triangular shape and surrounded Li Ku and Peng Si. It turned out to be the 3 smart brothers of Yamili. 197 Yamili, 198 Yumurii, 199 Wumu. The 3 of them have a tacit understanding. Lika glanced at them. These guys are unexpectedly not eliminated? What a shit luck. But they are all crooked melons and rotten dates. 3 people have only 1 blue entry, and the rest are all green and white garbage. Item: concentric, blue, effect. Item possessed by twin brothers, born with extremely high tacit understanding of cooperation. Trash item. This item is basically useless to me, but if these 3 guys join together, they can indeed create a 1 + 1 + 13 effect. No wonder this kind of crooked melon and rotten date can also enjoy a certain reputation in the candidate circle. At least ordinary candidates, or even candidates with certain strength, are quite troublesome after being surrounded by these 3 guys. Is it the 3 brothers of Yamili? The 3 of them are very powerful and very good at joint operations. Lord Li Ku. Peng Si was immediately nervous. Ha. You have heard of the reputation of our 3 brothers. Just hand over the number plate obediently, otherwise you will die at that time. The eldest brother Yamili grinned. They just need 2 number plates. Now, don't we have a ready-made one? Hiss. Suddenly, just when the 3 brothers felt that they had caught them, the sound of snakes rang around. They looked in the direction of the sound, and their faces suddenly changed. They saw a large number of snakes appearing densely. Damn, we were ambushed. This kid did it on purpose. Damn it, how could there be so many snakes? Damn it, those are poisonous snakes. You must not get bitten, otherwise it's over. The 3 brothers were shocked and angry. They felt that they had fallen into a trap. They even thought that Li Ku had pitted them. But there were more and more snakes around, and even a few golden pythons were seen, and there were some various poisonous snakes. Let alone them. Even a real professional hunter would be scared on the spot when seeing so many snakes. Yo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a bit overscore, but it doesn't matter. Take out your number plates, otherwise. I can't control whether these little treasures of mine will eat you. In the distance, the snake-brushing man Scar Pung appeared, and this guy was holding a snake flute in his hand and playing it. As his voice sounded, the snakes moved under his control. Lika looked over and couldn't help but raise his lips. Name: snake-catching man Scar Pung. Items: beast taming talent, blue; snake charming skill, blue; poison making, blue; disguise, blue; fists and kicks, green, etc. Interesting. I actually saw a talent for beast taming, and I have to say, Scarping's item is quite impressive. The original Fate line was stung to death by Peng Si's bees, which can be said to be quite aggrieved. After all, he was dressed in blue, but most of his entries cannot form direct combat power. Moreover, taming animals is a talent, and even Scar Pung himself does not know that he may be born with an affinity and taming for these animals. It is just used for snake playing. What a waste of natural resources. Good stuff. Ha. Talent is equivalent to a passive skill, which does not require any trigger at all. It is the same type as good luck. If it exists, it exists. Damn it. Kid, remember this time. You'd better pray that you can get a hunter license this year. Otherwise, we will kill you next year when we meet you. Damn it. Brother, there are too many snakes. Save me. We give up. The 3 brothers of Amori were furious. They had finally come to this point, but they did not expect that they would be forced to have no way out by these poisonous snakes in front of them. If you don't choose to surrender, you will definitely be bitten to death by these things. Death in the test is not protected by law. The legal concept in the hunter world is quite weak. Haha. Only smart people can survive, right? The guy who blocked the boat, you should have a lot of license plates on you, right? From now on, all of them belong to me. Scarpung walked slowly with a triumphant smile on his face. With the ability to play with snakes, he claims to be the most powerful among all the candidates, no one else. The only thing he did these days was to find these snakes on the island. Then, cast a net at the finish line and kill the New Year pig. It coincided with Li Ku, and he was very cautious. Even in such a situation where he was sure to win, he still kept a distance of 100 meters from Liku. In front of him were densely packed venomous snakes. According to the regulations of the test, if you keep your own license plate, a person only needs a maximum of 3. Your current points should be enough, right? Lika looked at Scarpung and smiled. Of course it's enough, but maybe there will be other people who don't have enough at that time. It shouldn't be difficult to sell a good card for tens of millions. No one will despise money. Scarpung smiled. The 3 brothers of Yamali had a distorted expression when they heard this. Damn it, this BD is too greedy. Wait, that's right. Then brother, I want to ask, how many license plates do you need now? Can we buy our own license plates? The eldest brother Yamali reacted and said excitedly, yes, the eldest brother is still smart. Awesome. The 2 younger brothers were also excited. Oh, my license plate? It's enough. Of course, the license plate can be sold to you. Each person, 2 million, not 1.5 million ringgits. This price is already very fair. Do you consider buying? But I only accept cash, and valuables are also acceptable, Scarpung said with a smile. The 3 brothers looked more miserable after hearing this than if they had eaten shit. Damn it, what's the difference between this and robbery? Hee, brother who blocked the boat. You can also buy your own license plate, but your behavior during the day makes me very uncomfortable. You need 3 million rings each. How about it? Scarpung looked at Liku with a strange smile. Most of the snakes swarmed in the direction of Liku. Chapter 40. Lucky Critical Hit. Beast Tamer. Purple. Good idea. It's really a good idea. Liku laughed. Even applauded him. Pa. Talent. This is the real talent needed in the new era. Look, this is the real free-for-all. They don't have any cost, and they make a lot of money right away. Master, this is the real master. But masters are often easily beaten to death. Then are you preparing cash or items? The smile on Scarpung's mouth is harder to suppress than AK. What if he is strong in single combat? Isn't it arrogant to block the ship? Aren't you kneeling in front of these venomous snakes now? No matter how powerful you are, can you kill 10, 100, 1,000 venomous snakes? Even 10,000? No, they're all scum. Scarpung is in a very good mood at this moment, and the 3 brothers of Yamali are already collecting money with bitter faces. Not bad, not bad. Very good advice. Your words have opened my eyes. How about this, you 3 million ringgits, you Scarpung, right? 6 million ringgits. Lika said with a smile. Not bad. Sensible, kid. You have a bright future. Scarpung was a little surprised. He didn't expect Liku to give double. You may have misunderstood. I mean, everyone here owes me money. Take out my number plates. Liku stretched out his hand. The whole audience fell into silence. Pungsi was dumbfounded. You know, there are densely packed venomous snakes around now. The 3 brothers of Yamali were even more stunned, and it took a few seconds before they burst into laughter. Ha ha! Is this kid crazy? He actually asked us to pay him 3 million rings. Do you really think my money came from the wind? We just owe Lord Scarpung some money. Why are you barking here? Idiot! The 3 brothers couldn't help but curse. Anyway, in their opinion, Liku was also the victim. It's okay for the victim to bully the victim, right? But Scarpung, after hearing what Liku said, the smile on his face slowly disappeared. It turned into sinister and cruel. Kid, this world is not as beautiful as you think. Since you don't know how to raise a hand, I will kill you, and it's the same if you come to take it yourself. Scarpung grinned and blew his snake flute. Weird music sounded. Suddenly, the poisonous snakes around seemed to be attracted by something, and they became irritable one by one. Protect yourself. I'll be back soon, Liku ordered. He strode directly towards Scarpung. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The nearby poisonous snakes attacked him one after another as if their eyes were red. Idiot. Tens of thousands of poisonous snakes. You really think you? The 3 brothers of Amori couldn't help but sneer. They could already imagine the miserable scene of Liku being bitten to death by poisonous snakes. There is no antidote serum in this place. Once bitten, you're almost dead. But the next second, their smiles were stuck in their throats. Everyone's expression seemed to be solidified with wide eyes. The faces were full of horror, shock, and disbelief. The poisonous snakes shook one by one before they touched Li Ku. Then they fell to the ground one after another as if their strength was drained. Pus flowed out. Wherever Li Ku passed, these poisonous snakes fell one after another like wheat blown by the wind. Ding! You killed the little poisonous snake, automatically plundered, very toxic, white, and automatically merged. Ding! You killed. System prompts sounded in Li Ku's mind. Toxic gold. He has been killing fish on Whale Island for 10 years, killing hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of fish every day. Many fish are poisonous, even more terrifying than these poisonous snakes. Even if it's just some white entries, it's piled up to gold. It's just that Li Ku doesn't like to use this ability usually, because the things killed by this ability can't even be eaten. It's a pure waste. But now, isn't this showing off in front of Guangdong? Aren't they dancing on the grave of the ancestors? A group of scum with white poisonous entries dare to show off in front of the golden ancestors? Li Ku didn't practice the relevant poison techniques specifically. Even if he just turned on this ability, he would keep himself as a colorless and tasteless poison circle in a 1-meter area. As long as these poisonous snakes touch it, they will die on the spot. Ow, how could this happen? Bob Hung was dumbfounded. He even rubbed his eyes, not daring to imagine it in his dreams. The venomous snakes that he was so proud of would die in unison with signs of poisoning. Could it be that the little devil in front of him had a poison that was more poisonous than the venomous snakes? Kill him! Kill him! Scar Pung screamed in fear, and the rhythm of the snake flute became obviously faster. Those venomous snakes seemed to have heard the order and swarmed towards Li Ku like crazy. It looked like a black tide. It looked like dense black ants moving things. Li Ku was even completely covered by these venomous snakes. Fight me. Although I don't know what weird means you use, with so many venomous snakes, even a spit of saliva can drown you. I'm afraid that even the bones have been poisoned now. Scar Pung gritted his teeth, and the tense expression on his face finally relaxed. This horrible scene scared the 3 brothers next to him. With so many venomous snakes, professional hunters will die. Peng Si behind him had red eyes and clenched his fists nervously. But they were disappointed. Li Ku, who was wrapped by poisonous snakes, was still moving forward. And the poisonous snakes that rushed around him were melting and falling like ice and snow, turning into a pool of pus on the ground. When Li Ku walked in front of Scar Pung, there were already large areas of poisonous snake corpses left behind him. The number of deaths was not tens of thousands, but there were thousands. The 3 brothers were stunned. I. Scar Pung widened his eyes. His expression was extremely ugly. He never dreamed that there was a guy who could carry so many poisonous snakes and walk in front of him. Is this guy also a poisonous person? He wanted to speak, but he watched Li Ku, who was intact, easily get rid of the poisonous snakes piled on his body. Then he stretched out his hand to grab him. Scar Pung wanted to escape, but found that his body was out of control, since he didn't know when he was poisoned. I have money. I'll pay 6 million for the money. He screamed in fear, but he was already grabbed by Li Ku's neck. His face turned green at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then turned purple. Finally, his body gradually turned into a pool of thick water and fell. Keep your money for hell. Li Ku loosened his hand and spoke expressionlessly. Ding! You killed the enemy snake charmer, Scar Pung, and randomly looted the entry. Ding! Strong luck crit. Automatically loot all the entries of the target. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining Beast Taming, blue, Snake Charming, blue, Poison Making, blue, Disguise, blue, Fists and Kicks, green, etc. Ding! According to your will, keep Beast Taming, blue. All the entries of the target are automatically shattered and turned into experience value increase. Ding! The entry Beast Taming, blue, is promoted to Beast Taming, purple, Chapter 41. The great devil Li Ku, a voice like the sound of nature rang in Li Ku's mind. Wow, strong luck is really my good brother. Directly gave a lucky critical hit at this critical moment. It was so cool. And because the entries were looted from the same person, 100% of the experience value could be merged without any discount. Directly let an ordinary blue entry break through to purple. Comfortable. This is so lucky, Lika shouted in his heart. Entry, beast taming, purple description. You have the talent to tame most beasts with the beast deterrence talent, beast taming effect. The effect depends on the strength of your own spirit and soul. This is the real use of the entry. Scarpung is a fool. It's like using gunpowder to make fireworks and playing with snakes. It's really funny. Lika's consciousness moved slightly. Suddenly, he clearly sensed the bees flying near him. Then he directly designated one of them. Suddenly, the little bee shook and then changed in an instant. It rushed around like a drone. Lika could control it easily. It should be a flying machine, but he tried it, and the range of control was about 2,000 meters. If it exceeded this range, the control power would decline. Bang! Under Liku's control, the bee smashed directly on the tree trunk. Very strong. The weaker the beasts and animals are, the easier they are to control. This talent is really good. Once they are controlled, even if they no longer use their talents, they will listen to them obediently, just like their spirit has left a mark on them. Liku was a little surprised. This talent is very good. It's a pity that I didn't find the talent of psychic. Otherwise, I might be able to share the other party's vision and hearing directly through the controlled animals. That would be really cool. But now, as long as Liku is willing, he can even leave a mental mark on all the animals on the island. Then they will become his own guards. Quite awesome. But this ability cannot be used on humans. After all, humans are not animals. Scarpang's death was quite miserable, and his whole body turned into pus. Even Peng Si, who had seen a lot of horror scenes in the past few days, couldn't help retching at this moment. But her pretty face was more excited. She didn't expect Liku to actually win, and win so easily. It's just that the three brothers of Yamali were terrified. One of the brothers peed his pants on the spot. Scarpang at least killed people through poisonous snakes. But this monster actually turned people into pus directly. It's simply a demon. And when I think about it just now, the three brothers insulted each other so much. Now they feel their entire backs and scalps are numb. Plop, plop, plop. There is no need to arrange it at all. The three brothers knelt down in unison. Then they began to kowtow like crazy. They were completely scared. If you offend other candidates, you can at least survive, but if you offend the big devil in front of you, you won't even have a complete body. My lord, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was mean just now. I'll beat him to death now. Come and beat me, big brother. I just said it. Second brother, let's beat each other. Big brother, second brother, what about me? Beat yourself. My lord, we were wrong. We won't take the test. We are willing to pay. We are willing to pay. The three brothers were completely scared and collapsed. Before this, they were real villains who often attacked other contestants. They even violated several girls. But now, the villains met the devil. Compared with Liku, they felt that they were as pure as mice. Oh, Liku turned around slowly, facing them with an expressionless face, and just glanced at them. The three brothers beat even harder. Even two brothers knocked out each other's teeth, mouths full of blood. Then they almost took off their pants just to survive. They were completely scared, swear that they will never come to participate in any hunter assessment in this life. This is simply not something a human can do. Good girl, it was our fault before. Please beg the adults quickly. We don't want to die yet. I have an 80-year-old mother at home. If I die, woo, I have a newborn baby. He is only 2 months old. Beauty, please be kind. The three brothers turned around and kowtowed to Peng Si. All they wanted now was to survive. Peng Si was also very entangled at this moment, and finally shook her head. You offended not me, but Lord Liku. It is Lord Liku's decision whether to release you or not, and it has nothing to do with me. After saying that, she lowered her head. Lord, the three brothers burst into tears. Go away. Get out of my sight within 10 seconds. Lika glanced at them impatiently. The three brothers were stunned for a moment, and then they ran away as if they had been pardoned and directly plunged into the sea. They didn't dare to go back with Liku and planned to swim back. This guy is simply a devil. Liku is not a murderer. After all, he grew up in the warm place of Whale Island. Although there is a system, I still don't offend others if they don't offend me. Peng Si, take the number plate. Liku ordered. The forest not far away. Hee hee, your fruit seems to be ripe. Don't you consider picking it now? The nail-headed man spoke mechanically, looking at Liku with flickering eyes. It's not the perfect time yet. Only the perfect fruit can make people intoxicated. Hisoka's face flushed with excitement, and he licked his lips with a perverted smile. Perfect. The nail-headed man Ilmi was a little confused. His mind is too weak. I will wait until he is the most perfect before tasting it. That is the real dream, hee hee. By that time, I'm afraid your teeth will break. Isn't it a kind of happiness to die in his hands? Hisoka's expression was perverted, and he seemed to be more excited than before. For a period of time, there was no one in this area, or someone came, but like Hisoka, he was unwilling to show up directly. Just when Liku was about to catch someone, a familiar voice suddenly came from not far away. Brother Ku, Gon called excitedly. There are also Kurapika, Killua, Liurio, and others. Brother Ku, do you have enough points? Gon shouted. We still have 2 extra. Good guy. There's still extra. Liku smiled and called a few little guys over. Since it's enough, then I don't have to worry about it. Almost. I don't want to be an opponent with Liku, but I can't go out now. It will be miserable if I have to buy it with money. Hanzo, who was hiding behind a tree, scratched his head. The tense faces of the candidates hiding in other areas finally relaxed a little. Dear candidates, the 4th test is now officially over. Please reach the finish line as soon as possible. In the distance, the sound of the loudspeaker sounded. All the candidates breathed a sigh of relief when they heard this sound. At least, now you don't have to worry about Liku, the monster, brushing you as an experience pack. Chapter 42, Examiner Aizen Sosuke. On the airship, all the people who passed the test have boarded the ship. Because of Liku's guidance, Peng Si also went on stage, but the follow-up depends on her. Liku is not a babysitter. Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Liurio also passed successfully. See you again, Brother Liku. Netero greeted with a smile, looking at the people who passed this time with great satisfaction. There are obviously more people than in previous years, and the strength of those who passed the test is very good. He was very satisfied. The airship sailed slowly, and Netero found each person in the room to talk. In the room, Liku was called in first. Do you want something to eat? You probably didn't rest for a few days on the deserted island. Eat well, Brother Liku. Netero smiled kindly. It's okay. What does the president want to ask? Oh, I looked at the results of the past few assessments. You are currently ranked the highest. Before the final assessment, we need to ask everyone some questions. Brother Liku, first of all, why do you want to become a professional hunter? Netero sat cross-legged, with a big word behind him. With the entry system, I am destined to embark on a road of infinite fighting, and many places in this world require a hunter license. Of course, I can also act as a big villain and force my way into various areas. But this is not necessary. At least, this world is not too bad for me. This final assessment is a good opportunity to brush the entry. I have to establish my own fighting maniac personality. It will be more convenient to brush others in the future. You are so full of fighting spirit. What an amazing spirit. Netero praised. Of course. Lao Deng, I copied your fighting spirit. When will you copy your other entries for me? Liku complained in his heart. So, among all the candidates present, besides you, the most outstanding one is... Netero asked. I don't feel much. No one is particularly outstanding. If I have to find one, Gon, he has great potential. Liku said lightly. Netero asked some other questions. If you choose to surrender, who would you choose? Netero looked at Liku with a smile. I want to fight with many more people. I prefer to enjoy the process of struggle rather than getting a license. For example, number 44 Hisoka, number 301 Nailhead Man, number 294 Hanzo, number 99 Killua, and... Liku was excited. Those who can get here are all big fish among big fish. Either they're strong or they're talented. Of course, except for Peng Si, who is a lying point monster. The weak ones are only the martial artist Badaro, the archer Bakur, and Liurio. The others are considered strong. Ahem. So many? I mean, President Netero, I remember you seemed to owe me a favor. Can you do me a favor and arrange a few more matches for me? I like a hearty fight, but this shouldn't be considered a favor. Are you sure? The candidates who can get here are not simple, and your physical strength may not be able to keep up. I'm sure I will definitely add it. Please, President, Liku is unwilling to let these big fish go. Or if it doesn't work, let them fight me in a round-robin battle. Whoever can defeat me can get the hunter license. How about it? Lika gave advice. Netero, good fellow, are you going to use yourself as the standard? But this is too unrealistic. Netero naturally understood that Liku had 100% of the strength of a professional hunter, and he was even much stronger than an average professional woman. If you want to defeat Liku, I'm afraid there will be no more than 3 people who can get a license. And what if this guy lets you win? Wouldn't it be like he was the one issuing the hunter license? Brother Liku, your standard is too high. There are not many who can beat you, and I don't know much about you. Netero smiled, but the next second his smile disappeared. Even his eyes widened and became round. Unbelievable, because he was shocked to see an identical self sitting in front of him. Liku disappeared, became himself. The key is, the other party also has the same aura as himself. Damn it, what's going on? Netero rubbed his eyes and then reached out to grab the Netero in front of him. His movements seemed slow, but they were actually very fast. The old man, who was known as the most powerful fighting force in human beings and had supersonic punches. Even the most ordinary attacks were very amazing. But Netero was shocked to find that Liku just slowly leaned back to avoid it. The opponent looked slow, but in fact he was also very fast. It was because of the residual vision on the retina of the eye that caused the illusion of slowness. President, you don't want to lose a genius like me, right? I hope to be the examiner this time. Netero spoke behind him, and his figure disappeared and turned into Liku. Super copy gold. Conjurer? Disguise? Incredible. Even my temperament and appearance are disguised so vividly. This should be the most incredible ability that the old man has seen in these years. Netero was surprised. So, you have awakened telekinesis? Conjurer, you are really a genius. He finally reacted and was amazed. Even if it is through telekinesis, it is definitely very talented to be able to do what Liku did, because he just didn't find any flaws in Liku's disguise as Netero. If this ability can indeed grow to a very amazing level in the future, such a genius even made Netero have a flash of thought. This Liku brother, if he can become his successor, it would be great. It can be considered, but letting candidates become examiners is unprecedented, and the old man can't determine your current level. Netero stroked his chin. As the president, this is the first time he has heard such a strange request in all these years. And the key is that he really owes Liku a favor. This idea doesn't seem to be impossible. But while he was still thinking about the feasibility of this matter, Liku's appearance had changed again. A low and magnetic voice sounded. The atmosphere in the entire office became a little depressed and solemn. What appeared in front of him was an elegant and graceful middle-aged man with great temperament. White death suit, hairspray hands, black frame glasses. In this world, facts are real, but people often choose lies that are conducive to survival. From now on, I will stand at the top. President Netero, Examiner Aizen Sosuke reports. Aizen Liku said in a deep voice. Chapter 43 Kinpachi, Leak vs. Netero. Nah, Nanny. Netero was startled, and his old eyes lit up. The mature and steady man in front of him was completely different from the previous Liku. There were 2 different styles. The other party's temperament was quite calm. The whole person looked gentle as jade, but gave people a sense of oppression. Liku. Netero was a little uncertain, because the man in front of him was completely different from Liku. Of course, President, I am Liku. Aizen Sosuke said. You're none. It can be understood as 72 transformations. I can change into any appearance I want. Not bad, President, but Londa's temperament is too high, and it is not very suitable for the next battle. I'd better change into a more normal one. After saying that, Aizen Sosuke in front of him changed his body shape quickly. black death suit, one eye, strands of hair standing up. His expression was as ferocious as a demon. Kenpachi Zaraki. Even Netero couldn't help but be surprised in his heart. The man in front of him was like a demon released from purgatory, full of terrifying oppression. Is this really Liku? How could a teenage kid have such a strong aura? Not bad, right? Kenpachi is the most suitable instructor, especially for this kind of assessment. How about the instructor Kenpachi of the Hunter Association? Kenpachi Liku grinned. But now his smile is even more terrifying. As a copy, Liku has all the images of Kenpachi Zaraki in his memory. But the spiritual pressure that seals the one-eyed eye is gone. After all, it is a knockoff. But the combat power is true. The flaming red eye is opened. It is no more amazing than the spiritual pressure of the one-eyed seal. Interesting. Interesting. Ha ha. Brother Liku. Definitely the person who has given me the biggest surprise in these years. No matter what, you will definitely join the Hunter Association in the future. I will issue you a license here. Ha ha ha. Netero laughed. Liku's ability really gave him too much surprise. This ability to transform into anyone is the first time he has seen it. This ability must be very good at controlling details. Otherwise, there would be various flaws when he changed into himself. Then it shows one thing. Liku's mastery of his own abilities has been exquisite to the extreme. Netero has done background checks on all candidates, and he naturally knows that Liku is from Whale Island and is only a teenager now. A true genius, still like a demon. Moreover, Brother Liku, are you interested in going to the training ground with me, an old man? Of course, I will restrain myself. Netero also showed rare interest. Of course, you said it, old man. How can I not accompany you to practice? But let me make it clear first. How about you let me have one hand and two legs? After all, you are the highest combat power of mankind. How can a little chicken like me lose to your opponent? Then you might as well just tell me to fight you with my head directly. Netero smiled unhappily. The two went directly to the training ground through the back door of the office. Liku versus Netero. No. It's Kenpachi Zaraki Reich versus Netero, because Netero wants to test the specific combat power he has after the transformation. It's also to determine the standard line for passing the test this time. The two stood still. Okay, as agreed, I'll let you have one leg and one hand, but you... Netero didn't finish his words. Kenpachi Reich directly attacked. Divine Power Red, Speed Gold, Taijutsu Master Gold, Super Copy Gold, Iron Tank Gold, Fiery Red, Eyes Red. Open buzz in an instant. Kenpachi Liku's momentum exploded in vain. It felt like a puppy was running over, but when it pounced on him, it instantly turned into a ferocious lion. Even Netero couldn't hold back for a moment. Boom, the terrifying power even made the entire training ground tremble violently. The saber in his hand was just picked up casually, and it exploded into pieces on the spot. But a terrifying cut appeared in front of Liku. The floor collapsed, and the ceiling was cut open. At the end of the cut, Netero's clothes exploded, and his hands were propped up. 100-style guanine. Just at this moment, he used a move to resist the attack, but the basics were like this. A faint blood mark also appeared on his palm. The violent and amazing power embedded the whole person in the wall. Outside, what's going on? President. The sudden, huge explosion instantly startled everyone. The bean-faced man hurriedly called for support. But when they arrived, his clothes were torn, and Netero changed his clothes and walked out. Ahem. I just accidentally damaged the training ground. Nothing happened. You go back. I still need to talk to Liku. Netero said seriously. Okay, President. Please pay attention to your safety when you practice. I will arrange someone to deal with the training ground immediately. The bean-faced man led the people away. Only Netero and Liku were left in the office. Ouch. You must have wanted to kill me just now. I almost died. Netero was very emotional. It's hard to imagine that you have such a strong attack power at your age. Just at that moment, your strength increased by at least 10 times. Netero understood. If it was Liku in that state, although he was not as good as himself at full strength. But looking at the entire association, 100% is also a strong man at the level of the 12th team, and it's still the middle to the upper middle. The problem is, Liku is only a teenager. Genius. Monster. No. Monster. This is the real hope of mankind. The wound on the palm still hurts a little. This kid is so awesome. As for why he can burst out 10 times the combat power, Netero will not ask, and will even help keep it secret. Geniuses always have their own secrets. Everyone needs to keep a certain space when getting along with each other. But there is no smile on Liku's face, and he is even a little depressed. Ding! You defeated Netero in combat posture, and there is a 10% chance to copy the opponent's entry. Copying. Ding! Copy fail. This is the answer given by the system. 10% probability. Should I let loud ding kill me? It didn't come out. My luck didn't explode. It hurts. Maybe it's just that the previous strong luck burst out too much, resulting in the need to stack luck now. What a pity. What a pity. There are not many opportunities to fight with Netero. And the next time the battle, this old man will definitely not let me want to defeat the opponent so much. It is almost very difficult. Headache. Hey. Brother, are you listening to me? I said I agreed to your request. You will be the examiner for this assessment, but you can't go out to meet them in your real identity. It's best to change into another person. The Kenpachi just now is very good. As for your license, I will send it to you in advance. I will find an excuse when the time comes. Netero now looks at Liku with admiration. It's just like a grandfather looking at his grandson. So good that it makes people shudder. Isn't it against the rules to do this? Liku hesitated. I am the rule in the association. Netero straightened his chest and said proudly, Chapter 44 Tyrant? Brother Ko, have you been gone for so long? Is there something? As soon as Liku came out, Gon and others surrounded him. Just asked some information about why I want to become a professional hunter, and they also issued me a license. Liku said, directly issued a license. This operation made Gon and others confused. What do you mean I performed well before and have met the standards for getting a license? I don't know anyway. It was arranged by the president. Liku directly pushed all the pots on Netero. I'm so envious. That's so cool, Brother Ku. Wow, I'm so envious. Gon, Leorio, and others were envious. I'm a little sleepy. I'll go take a rest first. Gon, keep going. Liku found an excuse. Kenpachi is going to go on stage. Soon, the bean-faced man exchanged the names of other people and called them into the office one after another to talk to Netero. Inquire about relevant information. Liku walked in the corridor and suddenly stopped. Next to him was Hisoka, who was leaning against the wall with his arms folded. Haha, good luck to you. Liku smiled. Then he left. Hisoka's confident mouth gradually lowered, and a dangerous light flashed in his narrow eyes. TSK. It seems that your fruit seems to be a bit aggressive. The nail-headed man Ilmi said. Did you get the license in advance? It's a pity that I can't test you here. Hisoka snorted lightly, a little regretful. This guy can deal with the disguised Ilmi, and he wants to take this opportunity to test him. As a result, Liku actually escaped. He can only say that he is lucky. Soon, all the candidates went in and had a relevant conversation with the president. Everyone, I will announce the content of this test. As the final test, we have decided that the instructor of this test, Mr. Kenpachi, will be in charge. You only need to get Mr. Kenpachi's approval to get the hunter license this time. I forgot to tell you that Mr. Kenpachi is our association's secret 2-star hunter, and he is very powerful. Netero announced with a smile. Mr. Kenpachi here. The bean-faced man in a small suit trembled as he guided a tall, black, devil-like man in a death suit. Kenpachi Zaraki Reich. The saber was replaced with a very good knife. The momentum of a one-eyed night owl. The corner of his mouth raised a devil-like smile. After seeing Kenpachi Zaraki, the candidates present all changed their colors. Even Hisoka's smile froze and became gloomy. He felt a strong sense of danger from the other party, and the other party's devil-like eyes seemed to look at him twice more. So dangerous. Is this instructor Kenpachi Zaraki? Gon gasped. So scary, this guy. Leorio was even more frightened. Pongsi was already trembling all over. Bakuer and Boudreaux looked extremely ugly. Very strong. Very strong. Killua was shocked. and his eyes became more solemn than ever before. It was the first time he could feel such a terrifying, killing intent in a person. He even had an illusion that the other party hardly needed to make a move, and this terrifying, killing intent alone was enough to shock most people. Isn't it a bit too much? Brotherly coup, you should hold back a little bit. Netero sighed in his heart. The field was silent. The tall Kenpachi, Zaraki, walked slowly and stood in front of everyone. Everyone, I am the examiner for this test. I will decide whether you can pass. Please show your absolute strength and determination to face death. There is a death target in this test, hey. Likeji Amba made a villain's signature lip-licking gesture. It was like a ghost wolf ready to be bloodthirsty. It made people tremble in their hearts. If you don't want to take the test, you can choose to give up. Once you give up, if you die under my knife, it's your own fault. Kenpachi Liko laughed strangely. Peng Si, who was standing in the corner, trembled. She felt like giving up, but after seeing the other party's eyes, she inexplicably felt that the other party didn't seem to have any malice. You passed. Liko Jianpachi spoke directly, pointing at Peng Si. Come on, I'll give you a game, even if it's the reward you gave me as a sweeping robot plus maid. Peng Si was dumbfounded. No. What's going on? She hasn't taken the test yet. Why could she pass directly? This is unfair. Shady deal. Shady deal. Bakuer suddenly became excited. This is simply too bullying. Just now, Peng Si even felt like surrendering. How come she suddenly passed? This is not a shady deal. What is it? The other candidates were also confused. Even Peng Si herself felt like she was dreaming. Tis, Kenpachi Liku sneered. Draw the sword. Divine power red. Swordsmanship blue. Cut. Boom, the amazing slashing wave exploded directly. Bakuer hurriedly tried to resist, but the whole person was blown away with the bow and arrow. Ding. You and Bakuer establish a fighting posture. Ding. You defeated Bakuer. Automatic copying. Ding. Automatic copy failed. Okay. Dog system. It's a pity that you can't kill people here. What a pity. Kenpachi Liku felt helpless. And in the distance, Bakuer was covered in blood. His bow and arrow were broken. He looked miserable, and he had lost his fighting ability directly. Doctor, treat him immediately. The bean-faced man hurriedly ordered. Bakuer was still conscious, but he was completely stunned. Too strong. The opponent was simply ridiculously strong. He killed me in one move. If the opponent's attack was a little heavier, I'm afraid only the corpse would be left now. There was even a brief silence at the scene. Too much. This guy, Gon clenched his fists, a little angry. It's not excessive, it's absolute strength. He doesn't allow anyone to question it. This is the result. It seems that not many people will pass the test this time. Karapika said calmly, whether you pass or not depends entirely on this guy's attitude. In this case, Killua's eyes were sharp, and his hands were straight like blades. Gulu, do you want to fight this monster? Liurio was a little nervous. Sweat beads appeared on Boudreaux's forehead. He is a martial artist, but the move just now was too fast. He couldn't even see it clearly. If it was me, I would have no chance at all. And this guy seemed to be very irritable and unreasonable. Whether he could pass or not was entirely based on his wishful thinking. He didn't allow people to refute. He was simply a tyrant. Chapter 45 Black Entry. Hisoka, the nail-headed man, and Hanzo were also silent. This so-called two-star hunter is so powerful. Is this the foundation of the Hunter Association? Examiner Kenpachi, you have to hold back. I'm going to be busy first. Good luck to everyone. Netero's mouth twitched. He was too lazy to watch here, for fear of affecting Liku's performance. It doesn't matter. This time, he was able to recruit Liku, which was a real wish. As for the others, including Gon, Killua, and others, whether they can pass the test is secondary. As long as Liku has fun. Netero's departure also made all the candidates present look ugly. This means that everything Liku is doing now is in compliance with regulations. The most confused is Peng Si. She didn't expect that she would pass so muddled. Examiner Kenpachi, why are you prejudiced against everyone? Why can Peng Si pass directly? Gon suddenly shouted. His voice made everyone quiet down. Leorio even covered his mouth and forced a smile to apologize. That examiner Kinpachi. Gon has no ill intentions. I didn't say anything just now. You heard it wrong. You heard it wrong. Killua and Kurapika stood in front of the two of them with bad eyes, ready for battle. Ding. You and Killua entered the battle posture. Ding. You and Kurapika entered the battle posture. Oh, isn't it here? Super copy gold. This ability is really useful. Do you want a reason? Li Ku spoke, smiling, but this smile looked a little scary with the scar on Kinpachi's face. Of course, even as an examiner, you should be fair, Gon said righteously. Oh, hee, the reason is, I like it. I am happy. Are you satisfied? Kid, Kinpachi Li Ku mocked wantonly. You. Gon was so angry that his teeth itched. Ding. You and Gon have entered the battle stance. Perfect. Oh no. Don't blame me, your brother Gon. Name, Gon items, super endurance, gold, super strength, gold, brave, gold, quick understanding, purple, fishing skills, purple, justice, purple, etc. Hidden, darkening, black. This item has a very low explosion rate, and it will burn vitality and fall into a state of insanity after being activated. Li Ku has been coveting Gon's item for a long time, but there is no chance to enter the battle stance. This guy has a hidden black item, although this item is not very good. But hidden black is also black. Damn it, Gon was a little angry. He is right. This is the world where people with strength are called personality. People without strength can only be willful. Fists are the greatest truth, Kurapika said in a deep voice. Then tell me the standard for passing the assessment. Examiner Kinpachi. Boudreaux said. As the oldest candidate present, he naturally kept his composure. Everyone looked over. No one knew what kind of assessment criteria this strange examiner would suddenly give. Assessment criteria are the key, asking it in front of everyone. Even if this strange examiner wanted to do whatever he wanted, I'm afraid he would consider everyone's ideas. It must be said that the old ones are still the best. Oh, assessment criteria? Let me think, Kinpachi Li Ku said with a smile. Damn, this guy actually decided the assessment standards at the last minute and didn't take this assessment seriously at all. Gon was so angry that his teeth itched. Killua and the others chose to remain silent. I thought of it. How about this? As long as any of you can last 3 minutes in front of me, it will be considered that all of you have passed. Oh, you can all come together. Li Ku pointed at the Gon group of 4 and then pointed at Boudreaux. What about us? Hanzo said hurriedly. You 3 are much stronger. I haven't thought about it yet. How about deciding after we deal with them? Kinpachi Li Ku replied. Hisoka was a little unhappy. He was even flipping and playing with playing cards in his folded hands. It seemed that he was considering whether to kill the guy in front of him, but when he thought that Netero was still behind, he finally suppressed his temper. This sounds like it would be very beneficial to us. Gon was stunned. Unexpectedly, this examiner seemed not so bad. The examination room is right here. Those who haven't taken their turn could go down first and come back later. Kinpachi Li Ku began to drive away other candidates. I give up. Suddenly, among the candidates, the nail-headed man Ilmi raised his hand. Shit, Li Ku was speechless. Ilmi actually gave up? This guy has a golden entry. Too cowardly. Damn it. Okay, but in order to maintain Kinpachi's cool personality, Li Ku couldn't stop him from giving up anyway, so he let him go. Ilmi, the nail-headed man, gave up. Hisoka looked at him with a gloomy look. I just got the license for the convenience of work. This guy is very strong. I will lose a lot if I want to defeat him. There is no need. I will come to get the license next year. The nail-headed man looked at Hisoka and explained, and then he just stood by and became a spectator. How could a killer expose all his cards in such a fair and open battlefield? A mere hunter license is not worth so much effort, and he was not absolutely sure that he could defeat Kinpachi Leorio. Ilmi would not do anything he was not sure of. He emphasized one-hit kill. Then, let's start everyone 3 minutes. Kinpachi Leorio raised a wicked smile at the corner of his mouth, raised a jagged knife in his hand, and looked arrogant and proud. Boudreaux, Leorio, You and I will be responsible for attracting firepower from the front. Killua and Gon will be responsible for sneak attacks. This Kenpachi examiner is very strong. If we don't cooperate, we can't hold on for 3 minutes. Kurapika said very calmly, and then reminded, "Don't take this, guys. Slash head on." Understood. Leorio gritted his teeth. "Don't worry, I will hold him back." Botaro made a martial artist's starting posture. The atmosphere on the field suddenly became extremely tense. Peng Si, who got the license, did not leave, but stood nervously outside the field to watch. Hisoka frowned slightly. He really wanted to see the true strength of his next opponent. However, the little guys probably can't test this guy's strength. You can only rely on your own eyesight. You can get ready. Everyone. Kenpachi Liku smiled and put a timer next to him. Just as he put the timer. "Now," Killua called out softly, and everyone moved instantly. Chapter 46. Little Boxing Genius Lawn. One update. Kurapika was the first to attack. He held 2 wooden swords, one above and one below. The upper sword cut Kenpachi's neck, while the lower sword cut his legs. Ha ha. Is this a child's toy? Kenpachi laughed wildly. As a time traveler, it seems more fun to play with a mask. You don't have to care about the past. Just vent your emotions. He simply bent his legs, blocked the lower sword with the sole of his foot, and then pinched Kurapika's upper sword with 2 fingers. Not good. Unexpectedly, both of his wooden swords were clamped by the opponent, and Kurapika's face changed suddenly. He let go without any image. He had guessed that the opponent would drop a terrifying slash. That was an attack that would make Baku scrapped with 1 blow. But it was unexpected. Kenpachi did not cut Kurapika, but played with his wooden sword. Fist Tiger's secret explosion flow. Martial artist Bao Deluo seized the opportunity and rushed forward. His whole body burst out with momentum. The visible fist wind condensed and turned into a tiger storm and fell towards Liku. Bang, 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 bang. Amazing sound of blows. So strong. Peng Si, who was standing outside the venue, was shocked. As expected, the candidates who could get here were very strong. This 027 martial artist Bao Deluo is even better. His ordinary punch is enough to smash 20 bricks. After the secret explosion flow effect is activated, even steel can be dented. He is a real master among ordinary people. But after these punches fell, Bao Deluo's face was extremely ugly. His chest rose and fell violently, and the finger bones of both hands were bleeding and the skin was torn. You can even see the white finger bones. His hands couldn't help but tremble. The attack he was most proud of landed on the opponent. He was the one who was injured? My clothes are dirty. Who told you to tickle me without my permission? The corner of Kenpachi Liku's mouth cracked, revealing a terrifying, hideous, and perverted smile. Botaro's eyes widened. Boom, a 5-meter-high, slashing wave came towards him. He was directly slashed and flew out, embedded in the wall in the distance. The shocking wound cut from the left shoulder to the right, and his lower abdomen almost cut him in half. I don't know if he is dead or alive. The medical team next to him quickly picked him up and sent him to emergency treatment. This scene made Gon and Leorio's faces change wildly. They finally realized that this battle would really kill people. Too strong. This Kenpachi examiner. Botaro's attack did not cause any damage to the opponent. Incredibly exaggerated defense. Ding. In the battle stance, you defeated the martial artist Boudreaux, and the entry is automatically copied. Copying successfully, obtain the entry, Little Boxing Genius Blue, Gon. Killua exclaimed. Got it. Gon immediately ran around Liku quickly. His figure was so fast that it left an afterimage. And Killua turned into more than 10 figures. Advanced assassination technique, limb bending. Gon chose to attack, and he actually used his fists. What a child. Liku couldn't help but smile in his heart. But the pressure from Kenpachi Liku was still very terrifying. Gon, who was originally rushing towards Liku, suddenly changed his movements halfway and swung the fishing line violently. Whoosh! The fishing line that was almost invisible to the naked eye disappeared in the air. Now, Killua's figure suddenly appeared behind Liku. His hands were stretched straight like sharp blades, and even his nails were glowing with a faint purple light. This was the effect of poison. He no longer regarded this battle as a test. He dealt with it with the mentality of assassination. And at this moment, the fishing line that was almost invisible to the naked eye directly wrapped around Liku's right hand holding the knife. Oh, very good cooperation. Kenpachi Liku smiled. What a pity. Except for the hidden lightning power, Killua's other items were almost copied by himself. This little guy's physical fitness is far inferior to his own. Hey, Liku suddenly turned around and opened his mouth suddenly. What? Killua's face changed suddenly. Ka! His fatal sneak attack was actually bitten directly by Kenpachi Liku. Madman. Absolutely madman. His nails are poisoned. Bang the next moment. Killua felt his abdomen churning, and the whole person was kicked out like a sandbag. When he was about to hit the wall, he was blocked by Leorio, who used him as a meat cushion. Both of them had blood at the corners of their mouths. The plan has changed. We choose to roam and delay time. According to the rules of the game, it is 3 minutes. Kurapika exclaimed loudly. This scene stunned Hisoka, Illumi, Hanzo, and several other examiners who were watching the game. This examiner Kenpachi. When did it happen? So strong. Minchi murmured. I haven't heard of it, but it's very perverted. This fighting style. I'm afraid it will be difficult for them to pass if this continues. Buhara stroked his big belly and sighed. Not only is he perverted his strength, I'm afraid it has reached the level of gold. I didn't expect that there is such a powerful existence in our association. Saditz with a mustache shook his head. They have never heard of the news of the examiner Kenpachi. Just now, they even thought that this guy was too arrogant. After all, they're all candidates who have reached the finals, and each of them is a real elite. The test content is to persist for 3 minutes too arrogant. Now it seems instead, this examiner Kenpachi is too cautious. With his exaggerated strength, not to mention 3 minutes, even 1 minute is enough to defeat these examinees. Killa, Leorio, Kurapika suddenly exclaimed. When Killua reacted, he was shocked to see that Kenpachi Leek had arrived in front of him. Hey! The terrifying sword was raised. Don't go. Killua. Leorio actually rushed up and pushed Killua away fearlessly. Boom, the expected slash did not fall. This time, it was the back of the knife. It hit Leorio's neck lightly. This guy fainted on the spot. Ding, you defeated Leorio in the battle posture, and the entry is automatically copied. Copy failed, as expected. Kenpachi Liku was helpless, but his actions also confused everyone present. They were both examinees. Bakur and Bedella were half dead, but Leorio was lightly punished. This, Examiner Kenpachi, is too willful. Protecting companions is one of the beliefs of professional hunter. Kenpachi Liku grinned, revealing sharp teeth like a beast. Next, it's you guys who should be eliminated, little guys. Chapter 47, Red Thunder Telekinesis. To Killa. Gone. Delay time. This is our only chance. Don't fight this guy head-on, otherwise we won't be his opponent. Kurapika exclaimed. He had already seen that the strength of the examiner Kenpachi was far superior to theirs. Killua was in a very complicated mood at the moment. Leorio was eliminated because he was eliminated. This time, his cooperation with Gon can be said to be seamless, but the opponent easily cracked it. It seems that you're the smartest, so eliminate first. Kenpachi Liku's laughter sounded. His momentum suddenly surged like a tiger coming down the mountain and like an evil ghost crawling out of hell. Kurapika, run! Gon gritted his teeth and exclaimed, pulling his fishing rod desperately. I have to say, it is worthy of being a fishing rod that can catch the king of the swamp. The quality is beyond doubt. The strength of this fishing line is also amazing. It even makes Liku suspect that this should be the 097 thing left by Jean for him. Ordinary people are strangled by this fishing line, which is equivalent to being strangled by steel wire, and they can't use any strength at all. What a pity. It is tying up Liku now. Iron Tangold. Divine Power Red. Of course. You don't need to use too much force against Gon. He is one of my friends in this world after all. It's just a test for him. But the fishing line was instantly stretched straight. Gon stretched his feet hard and stepped on the ground, and even stuck the cracks in the ground with the fishing rod. He wanted to use this to hang Liko up, but it was like a kitten hanging up a whale. The whale took the hook, but it was the kitten that was hung up. Crack, crack, crack. The floor collapsed quickly. The fishing line was not broken, and the quality was amazing. Instead, Gon was thrown up completely out of control. Hey! Kenpachi Liko pulled the fishing line violently, and Gon in the air fell rapidly towards him. Cracked a sharp knife, light flashed. The fishing line broke. Gon fell to the ground in a mess in midair. Killua made the move, and he used a sharp knife to cut the fishing line. Limb flexion, dark step, snake alive. He had definitely reached his strongest state at this moment. The veins on his hands bulged, and his eyes were cold and sharp, exuding the aura of a top killer that made people shudder. One after another, the phantoms of clones appeared around Kenpachi Rick. Very motivated. This makes me have to be more interested. Kenpachi Rick grinned. Killua's figure was everywhere. But the next moment, Buzz 1 Kenpachi Zaraki turned into 2, 2 turned into 4, and 4 turned into 8. The same effect as limb flexion. Peng Si covered her mouth. Her beautiful eyes widened, as if she was dreaming. Not only her, Menchi and several examiners present were also dumbfounded. That is the assassination skill of the Zoldyck family. But how can this examiner Kenpachi give it up? Saditz was stunned. 8 clones too. Too awesome. The nail-headed man, Ilmi, narrowed his eyes slightly, but his eyes were extremely cold. He had already given up, but that didn't mean he would let go of anyone who tried to steal the assassination skills of the Zoldyck family. Limb bending. It seems that kid is going to be in trouble. Hisoka smiled with a smile on his face. Tex, the nail-headed man suddenly spoke. Of course, it's not an assassination skill. This examiner Kenpachi's is pure speed.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.